Lux, check Discord chat. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how to answer this question. I'm like.
I've got some ideas, but all right. Welcome to the show. Here now we go. And that's it. That's the thing. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Calling It Now, where you can call us and you can debate us on different issues. Let's make the debate topic today, Luthian, if you will change that to debate Trump. Trump sucks. Trump is bad, comma, trans is good. To the people here, I'll go ahead and change the audio there to show audio. To the individuals who are waiting in the queue right now, who are calling from IP addresses, we are not taking any IP. They think we don't know what a troll raid looks like.
Yeah.
They think they don't know that them suddenly hopping on the other show beforehand, and filling up that live chat. And then suddenly we have, before the show even starts, a bunch of callers. They think we don't know what they're doing. They think we don't know the ones that tried to call before the show and are now, right now, this second, trying to call back, that it's not pretty obvious. So, people, I guess, just be aware we're probably going to be spending some time today spotting trolls and blocking phone numbers. And so, that'll be pretty much the deal. Someone just rang our doorbell. I don't know who. All right, I'll go look. 1 sec. Y'all, Lux, if you want to say hi to people.
Hello, it's me. I'm here, and so is Mina. She's making a rare appearance in the background there. Anyway, so I love her so much. She's such a sweet angel. We are ready to take some debate calls. Yeah, so we have some people already being processed, but it kind of, again, it's not like we're getting real serious calls at this point in the show. We usually don't. We are aware. We usually take a few minutes to vamp and ramp things up and get some new viewers in. So we're still...
Double doorbelled for a salesperson.
Damn, get the fuck out of here.
Anger and rage.
Yeah.
Luthian, I'll handle the thing on the, if you want to just screen. Oh, everybody is dropping off who's calling in with a real phone number. That's so interesting. Because, we're not taking any non-phone number calls.
This is the policy anyway, guys. Like, if you call in, use your phone number unless you're outside the U.S. Like, if you're within the U.S., we do not accept calls on the web caller.
No, I'm not. We're not even going to take outside of the U.S. today. That's
really,
we're just not. Yeah, okay.
We're at the point where we're not doing it at all. No web calls today. Sorry if you're in Europe. Too bad for you.
Yeah. They're apparently they're too giddy. They're too silly. They can't even make it. Try and screen the one with an actual phone number next, and then just same thing with the ones that follow. Where it's just going to be, you may call the regular show. And that's it. All these are showing as IPs from within the country anyway. So, we're just going to go ahead and, before they try and pull some stupidies, we're just going to start banning IPs too.
Like, we know what to look for, y'all.
Ain't no thing. All right, so if you want to call in and you actually want to call in good faith, unfortunately, we're going to have a little bit of troll stomping to do today, but if you want to call in actual good faith, phone number's right there, 336-543-2101, 336-543-2101. Olivia, you are more than welcome to Super Chat to complain about the vertical format. And it's temporary. There will be a day where not only will we have horizontal and vertical, their live chats will be combined. This is something YouTube is allegedly going to be rolling out, and we're very, very excited about that. So that phone number again, 336-543-2101, 336-543-2101. Yeah, that totally, the auto screener, that totally looks like a genuine caller.
Yeah, totally.
I'm positive. What's there to worry about? What's there to worry about? Anyway, in Trump land, my God, what a week he's having. His own white supremacist fucking head of oh man, what was Joe Kent's position? Literally like top intel. Did you not hear about this?
So here's the thing is that I have managed to fully make the transition to an RSS feed. And I don't know, I haven't also checked it in a couple of days, but I can just selectively go through and I'm like, okay, I don't want to see anything about Iran today or whatever. So I've kind of been avoiding politics and not seeing like whatever everybody's talking about each day, which has been great for my health, but obviously harms my ability to argue on the show a little bit.
Such privilege. So privileged.
I know.
Anyway, Joe Kent was the former director of the National Counterterrorism Center, would have had a big focus on the Middle East, being one of the top intelligence sort of heads. And he quit. He resigned because of the Iran war. Basically said it was not justified. We shouldn't be there. We shouldn't be doing that shit. And in his thing said that we didn't go because there was an imminent threat. We went because Israel asked us to. Israel lobbied for it.
Just kind of saying it out loud. Yeah, we already knew that.
Joe Kent is a white supremacist, like gives it off so fucking hard. So to be clear, people, once again, be a little cautious with who you embrace. I see a lot of, it makes me very sad the way I see people wanting to embrace Tucker Carlson, for example. And while I enjoy watching the arrows fly between my enemies, that I would not then be like, oh, maybe Tucker's got some points. Maybe we leftists should like hear him out or something. I'm not going to Mickey Mouse Tucker Carlson's balls, guys. That ain't going to happen. So basically what I'm telling y'all is be very cautious, because while he is correct, do keep your messaging sort of careful about, very, very specific about the ways in which he is correct. Because if you accidentally end up, there are people who are anti-Israel because they are anti-Zionist. Those people are good people, often. But there are people who are anti-Israel because they're fucking Nazis. Those people are not good. And you don't want, if you don't kick the Nazis out of your party, you're at a Nazi party.
Yeah.
That's what's happened. That is indeed how it works.
It's like, leftists do need to take care not to swerve into anti-Semitism when we're criticizing Israel. You know,
yes.
You gotta be fucking chill about it.
And it's more like, don't like embrace other anti-Semites. Not other, that suggests I don't suggest other anti-Zionists who are anti-Semites because they are anti-Zionists. You need to there's 100%. Javon and I had a funny call that was kind of like this, where we were like listening and the person was like, yeah, I'm with you on this. And it's like, right. But why are you against? And then the dog whistles come out and you're like, yeah, I know what's going on. I know what's going on.
The parentheses.
Oh, how are you feeling about these ones, Luthien?
Not good about any of them.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll see what happens. I got vMix up, so you can keep doing your thing. All right. Well, we'll find out. We'll see if we're just squashing trolls today. So here I go again on my own. Welcome, George from Kentucky. George from Kentucky, you are on the line.
George Chevion. I love you.
I feel like I already muted before he could get to the George. No one can hear you. I can't even hear you. No. It seems to me that considering I answered the phone and wasn't even through the intro, and you just kept going and going, I think I'm already good to call it a day with you and drop and ban your line.
Yeah. So, he was gonna say I love something, and I don't want to know what it is.
I assume it was gonna be Trump. That's what he kept saying into the phone, into the pre-screener. All right, let's see. Cobson in New York. Cobson, I've got such hopes for you. Okay. Cobson in New York. You are on the line with Jimmy and Luxander. Cobson, how old are you?
I am 20 years old.
You're 20?
Yes.
Okay. And you're from New York. It says here that when did you come to America?
My parents came here from America, no, from India to America in the early 1950s.
Okay. So you were born in America?
Yes, I was born in America.
You're a natural born American citizen, huh?
Yes, sir.
In New York?
Yes, I am from New York.
Hey, what does transgender mean?
It means the changing of one's gender, sir.
No.
Then
Do you want to take another
can
shot
you
at it?
define it for me, sir?
Do you want to take another crack at it?
I want you to define it for me because I'm a low IQ MAGA. You define it for me since you're so smart.
Wait. Why would I engage a person who's admitted they're a low IQ MAGA?
No, I'm saying that you people call me low IQ MAGA, but you never tell me what does transgender mean, sir?
When did
I've
I
never
call you a
met
low
you
IQ
before.
MAGA?
Yeah, I didn't have an opportunity to call you any names. I've never met you.
Okay, so I'll define it again, sir. So basically, what transgender means is the idea of changing one's sex/gender from their biological gender to another.
Yeah, I think you're still. I mean, I think I get what you think it is, but you're really kind of circling the drain there. What is the difference between sex and gender, Cobson?
The difference between sex and gender: sex is the ideology you think of, and gender is like what you were born as.
No,
fascinating.
No, you even as bad as those definitions would have been, you got them reversed.
So tell me what it is, sir.
Yeah, well, sex. You said sex was. Yeah, I know. I'm just looking at the chat. You said that sex was what your ideology is. And gender is what you are born as. So first things first, gender isn't reduced to being an ideology, but you had it again reversed. It would be sex would be something you are born as. There are characteristics we'd call biological. There is very likely interactions with sex and in fact gender. So it isn't as clear cut as some people think, as it's just male and female. But that would be the sex side of it. Gender would be the social side of it.
So what does that make a difference, sir?
I like to know when a person calls in with a this is why I haven't started arguing with you on the trans issues yet. In fact, I'll probably leave it to my trans co-host to do so. I like to set a baseline of you have a strong opinion on trans people, allegedly, according to the screener. I like to know how much you even know about what it means to be trans before we go down that route. And it's allegedly you are calling in to say that trans people are not good because they go against Christian beliefs. And so now then we get into another level of like what Christian beliefs, and then even if you can lay out where trans is wrong in the Bible, why I should give a shit about Christian beliefs. I'm not a Christian. Only Christians should have to abide by those.
Well, this is a Christian nation, sir.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is. It has always been a Christian nation.
No, it hasn't.
Even if it was, why would you care about that? Your family's from India.
Because I am Christian, sir.
Yeah.
Why?
Me, I am Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Did your parents raise you Christian? Why are you Christian?
Because I am a good person who integrated into this country.
Oh, okay.
So if you had gone to a different country, you would have become whatever religion they are. You didn't. Your reason for being Christian isn't that Christianity is true. It's that Christianity is popular in America.
I truly believe in my Lord Jesus Christ. And
yeah. Hey, you know that your accent is changing, right? You need to really like work on this fake accent you're doing to make sure that it's consistent. I have an ear for accents, It's somewhat obsessive. I experienced tremendous echolalia and the like, and you're going to want to be more careful keeping your fake accent consistent if we're going to do it. Why don't you? I mean, you're obviously a MAGA like troll bigot. Why pretend to be Indian? Why not just drop that and we'll just proceed with the regular conversation?
Because I am Indian, sir.
Yeah, Sar. Yeah, you totally are. This is totally not a joke. Let me guess who your favorite
Cobson.
Simpsons character is. How do you feel about the character Apu?
My favorite Simpsons character is Marge, and my favorite Family Guy
I asked
character
how you
is
feel
Cobson.
about Apu.
He will always be a gem. Cobson will always be a gem.
Apu on The Simpsons. What do you think about him?
He will always be a gem, sir.
A gem?
Yes, sir.
This is how I know you're not Indian.
In India, we do that.
Indians don't
India,
like
we say
Apu.
that, sir.
Indians don't like Apu, Cobson.
Yes, they do. You
They
don't
don't.
talk about India.
Nigger. Oh, wow. We're so impressed by you. Are you ready to now, like with your own voice, do it? He dropped the fake accent to throw down a slur at the end. Now call back. Let's do the actual thing. Now that we know like who you are. I mean, like, where are you going? Why are you leaving? I'm going to call his mom. I'm going to look up who his mom is. I'm going to call her. Be like, hey, your son called in. For the record, people who were calling troll at the beginning, it's not, I want you to know, we all knew at the beginning. It's you give them a minute.
Yeah.
And you try to see where it's going to go.
Gotta give him a little bit of rope.
Yeah. I'm gonna call his mom.
If you're in the chat right now and you're bored of this troll bullshit, then what you should do is hit the like button, because
that would help.
It's easy. It's free. It immediately shows the show to more people in the algorithm. If you're on the mobile, then just double tap your screen. It's super duper easy. Basically, any amount of clicking on the screen that you can do, click share and then copy the link, and you don't even have to paste it. I would love it if you pasted it somewhere, but you don't even have to. So
send me your MAGA dads, guys.
Yeah.
Send me your MAGA dads.
Yeah, share it on your Facebook and see how many of your right-wing family members we can get in here.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like, it's fake accent. Jimmy knows it's fake accent, right? Guys.
Like, we're not dumb. We're autistic. We know.
I knew it was a fake. His first and second sentences he said weren't consistent. Y'all have seen. I had to apologize the other day because I did it. Because I compulsively, I'm going to make a verb out of it. I echola'd a person with a speech impediment who was a dick.
Okay.
Where I became compulsively obsessed with doing an impression of them, and it just went on too long, and I did it. And some people are, by the way, the people who were defending me in the comments, like, I was dumb that people were mad at you, shouldn't apologize, blah, 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 blah. I'm fine, guys. I didn't lose a single, like, I don't know, maybe I lost a subscriber. I'm fine. Like, literally all I did was acknowledge it was a shitty thing to do.
Yeah.
And it's shitty when I fat shame Trump. And I'm going to continue to fail to live up to my own humanism. I'm going to continue to fail to live up to my own virtue signaling. And I'm going to keep pointing out that Donald Trump is allegedly an alpha male with a tiny penis and is morbidly obese. And yet they claim to value these things. But we shouldn't body shame people for their tiny penises. But I'm going to keep body shaming Donald Trump's tiny penis. Guys, like, it's fine. It's fine. You don't have to, like, I feel you. And it's very sweet of you. But Donald Trump has a tiny little pee-pee. And that caller, when you're that much of a fascist and you're barely serious about it, I can't stop myself at certain points. It's just like,
it's like the conflict between like my values and their values, right? Like, am I above insulting someone else with something they would find insulting, even though I wouldn't find it insulting?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, I mean, if somebody calls me the F slur or makes fun of how I talk, like, whatever, like, I kind of on some level feel like it's morally permissible to make fun of somebody for being like, yeah, like tiny penis, like to stick with the tiny penis thing. I don't hurt. I have taken issue with it in the past because of like the like trans masculine, trans men aspect of it.
Sure.
But
Also, it is body shaming. It is what it is.
It is
but at a
body
certain
shaming.
point, guys, like some of the people who will shame me are the people who also are like, we should be publicly executing the right. And I'm like, okay, but surely before we hit there, I'm allowed to bully them, right?
Yeah,
like
sure.
Bullying comes before execution, right? Like that's surely that's not in the same, like, no, torture's worse than killing. Like
we have a
bullying's not
different
worse than
moral
killing.
code. If I called them something that is like not bigoted, but is an insult, they don't care. If you call them deplorable, they get a tattoo of it. I'm going to call them a fat fucking moron. And yes, that's ableist. And yes, it's fat phobic.
It is.
But they care.
Yeah, we've got call screening just so people know.
We're working on it.
We'll see what's happening here. There was a guy who called in, and I'm sorry, guys, I'm going to do the ableist thing again because I'm going to do an impression of a person who's clearly dealing with an impediment. But you have to understand the juxtaposition I was in. There was a person who called in. I picked up after failed screening multiple times. I was like, dude, what do you want? By the way, for the record, I actually talked this guy down after multiple harassing calls. I got him to a point of empathy. I got him to a point of like talking about whether his mother would approve of this type of language he's using, the kind of things, whether this is very Christian. And he literally said something like he like apologized for it. But he literally called in, and this is almost a perfect impression. He goes, "Hi, can you wet me on the ale to let Matt know that he's a fat sack of quap who should go back to wet it? He sounds like he has a neck build and he should go back to wet it." Guys, the funny thing is I do impressions of lots of people. It almost would have been ableist to not nail that because that's exactly how he sounded, 100%. So at a certain point, it's kind of like, it's a defining feature of his, and to pretend he has a different voice is ableist in another way, isn't it? I don't know, but
someone in the chat says he sounded like a racist Elmer Fudd, and in that context, I think it's acceptable.
Right? It's kind of one of those. It's one of those things. And in fairness, all I did was say a couple words the way he said them. I didn't say he was a piece of shit for sounding, but there's something different. Something hits different when somebody tells you, "The South will white again, motherfucker." Like it's just a different experience.
You just can't take it seriously.
And you're just like, all right, man. We'll get on.
I'm a terrible person. I'm okay with it.
We'll ride our horses together. What do you do? And so I'm not perfect, guys. I'm not perfect. Ollie says, "Come on, gringos, you can make real super chats. Give it a try." I'm allowed to say that, right? Since it's gringos is toward white people.
Gringo is what I am. I'm allowed to say it.
Yeah, I'm allowed to use my people's slurs for me. And also, I would just like to add as a note, and this can be one of the things people can call and argue on, I also am fine with all people using our slurs.
Oh?
Yeah, the person who is pretending to be Cobson is trying to call in again after saying the N-word at the end of his call. It'd be very interesting. The screener will have to let us know whether or not Luthien's not here. Will you just tell Luthien in the thing? I guess I can do it.
I can do it. Like, I can be your secretary. It's fine. I'm getting paid to be here.
Ask Cobson if he plans to apologize if we let him back on. I have an idea. I might do something. All right. I might do something. All right. Let's find out. Blake in New York calling in as a socialist, pronouns he, him. Blake, how old are you?
I'm 27.
27-year-old Blake.
I've talked to you before. I know you don't probably remember, but we had a conversation, and it wasn't about this, but it ended up like I was talking about how I would not vote for Gavin Newsom, and you and Luxander were very. I'm lucky. I just happened to find a day where both of you were here. You and Luxander were both like, "Oh, that's stupid."
What are the odds?
Right.
Yeah, we do this every week, but that's new.
Every Thursday, but what are the odds?
We just started doing it regularly.
I don't know your. Hold on, you guys. I have a job. I have a life. I don't know all this shit. I just go
Come
on
on,
YouTube
you're
and I
fine.
see.
Come on, you're calling into a YouTube show. You don't have a job or a life. Be so real, Blake.
Dude,
Neither of
I
us
do
are
have a
here
job.
because we have
day-
lives, guy.
This is my day off, okay?
All right, fair enough. Right. All right, so Blake,
Anyway.
you don't
Yeah.
like that we said choosing right now that you wouldn't vote for Gavin Newsom if he's the Democratic nominee.
Hold on. The thing we never got into is
I'm holding.
The thing we never got into before is I live in New York. My state is safe. It doesn't matter who I vote for. In 2016, I wrote in Bernie Sanders. In 2020, I wrote in Bernie Sanders. In 2024, I wrote in Bernie Sanders. It doesn't matter. My state doesn't matter. I can vote for.
All right, Blake, I have a question for you.
I want, and it
Hey,
doesn't
Blake,
matter.
Blake, I have a question for you.
I hear you, bro.
Okay, Blake, let me ask you this. This is the thing I ask everybody who brings up this same point. Do you believe that participating in a culture where you say, in safe states, I don't have to vote for somebody, do you believe that that increases or decreases the amount of people in those safe states who... Oh, no. Blake,
No,
Blake, I haven't finished my first question to you. No, hold on.
Okay.
I haven't finished my first fucking question to you, Blake. I already want to hang up because you don't let me get through the first fucking question.
I'm so sorry.
Jesus Christ, Blake. Okay. No, I'm going to finish my question. And you know what, Blake? Then when you answer it, you're going to answer it and wait to see if I have a follow-up. Jesus, Blake. Oh, fucking Christ. This call already has like no potential because I'm already pissed off that you didn't let me get through my first question. Okay, your first question, Blake. Participating in a culture which says I don't need to vote for them because I'm in a safe state. Do you believe that increases or decreases locally within that state the number of people who are promoting that candidate?
It probably decreases it, sure.
Excellent. Follow-up question. Does decreasing that culture of people within that state spread outside, and people who are on the fence, who are leftist, or who are already thinking about abstaining, do they tend to find a robust group of people who are saying they're not voting and are therefore in less safe states and unsafe states? No. You're going to let me finish the question or you're going to answer it. By participating in that culture, does it likely raise the odds that unsafe states' votes will go uncast for the better nominee?
Okay, no, it doesn't raise the odds.
You know what's so funny, Blake, is I've asked that of multiple leftists so far, and you're the first one who says no, that you participating in a don't vote culture in a safe state spreads to unsafe states. And so the question is, were they all wrong, or are you dishonest because you want to abdicate responsibility for participating in a culture that the unsafe state people who don't want to vote for a candidate end up doing? Even if, I don't care, Blake, if you write in Bernie Sanders and then you lie to everybody else and encourage them to vote.
Right. Yeah.
But the culture exists. You're participating in it right this second, literally now. So you can't say you don't participate in it because you're calling in advocating for not voting for the better of lesser of two evils.
Hold the phone. Hold on.
We're holding.
Said I'm advocating for not voting. I'm not advocating for not voting. I'm saying that's my position.
Excuse me, what was the end of the sentence?
What did you say? I'm sorry.
What was the end of that sentence?
I'm advocating not voting for myself. I don't vote or shame. Anybody who voted for
I do
Kamala,
vote or shame.
For Biden,
I absolutely vote or shame. I do. I do judge that, and I do vote or shame.
Well,
and the end of my sentence was,
you're right.
Not voting for the lesser of two evils. And you actually right now are here participating in it. Isn't a solo to you. And I feel certain, based on our interaction so far, that you're not exactly a person who keeps this to themselves and is just a generally quiet, unopinionated person on the internet.
Okay.
But on the basis of this interaction, I am tired of hearing hold on. Blake, if you say hold on one more time, I'm ending the call. I decide when I'm done talking. I decide when I'm done talking. my name's on the fucking door. You will get your opportunity to talk. But as I've said to people before, it doesn't matter whether or not you're right wing. It doesn't matter. People are like, he just shouts down everybody who doesn't agree with him. Blake's a socialist. We probably agree with more things than we don't. But here you have an example of a leftist, and the 100% issue is that this person is not acting in good faith. So Blake, I will decide when I'm done talking, and I need you to stop talking while I am, because it also throws off the conversation. Now, because I've forgotten what point I was going to make, you may make whatever point you like, and the next hold on is ending the call.
Okay, that's totally fair, and I apologize, and I will save my points till the end of your whatever you have to say.
Cool. Now go. I said this was your turn. Your time.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I guess what I would say is, yeah, okay. First of all, did I say I'm advocating for people not voting? No, I'm not advocating for people not voting. I'm saying this is my position. This is my personal principles, right? I don't think I can vote for somebody. Well, okay, obviously we're extrapolating into the future. We don't know who the fuck the Democratic nominee is going to be in 2028. And also, we don't know if the elections are, like, we're going to find out in November whether these elections are going to be fair.
Can I interject here, Blake?
So,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I wanted to let you guys get a little bit of a back and forth. And I just want to ask you, do you think that you talking about your third party vote, basically, like you're writing in a candidate, like, do you not see that being part of a culture of normalizing the behavior to other people?
Hold on.
You're doing the same thing to me and not answering the question.
No. Luxander, let me, hold on. I didn't say this here. When I usually talk about this with people, I add on the caveat of, okay, if I was in a swing state, or if I was in a state that matters, yeah, I would obviously vote for the Democrat, right? I add that caveat on. Yes, if I was in, Michigan, yes, I would totally vote for Gavin Newsom. No questions asked. I live in New York. It's going to go blue no matter what. And I'm not.
How old are you, Blake? You said you're 27. So I don't know if you're a few years younger than me. So maybe you don't remember how Florida used to be a fucking swing state.
Right. New York.
What is it now, Blake? What is it now?
New York is going to be. You think New York is going to become a swing state?
If you gerrymander a place enough, I know that New York City has a large population, and that helps. That helps.
We have Democrats in power. Like, Kathy Hochul is not the best person.
Yes, I'm just saying, how many people does it take to say I don't give a shit? How many people does it take who won't vote before, like, it starts to become a problem? Like, you are part of something that will become a problem.
The thing
and
is,
Jimmy's point was that this is cultural as well.
I'm not telling anybody not to vote. I almost just said the Ted Cruz line.
Because that's what you do. Because that's what you do, Blake. You vote your conscience. You don't vote strategically. Yeah. You don't vote in a way that makes sense for what we're trying to accomplish. Like, listen, vote in the way that you would vote if the popular vote actually mattered. Because we want the popular vote to matter. We want to get rid of the Electoral College. We want to be able. Blake, holy fucking shit. We want to be able to point. I don't need you to interrupt me with more apologies. Just stop talking. We need to be able to point to the popular vote and go, hey, this is the reason why the electoral system specifically is fucked up. I lived in Kansas, and I also hated voting for Kamala Harris, and I did it anyway, because it matters to be able to compare the popular vote to the election results and say, hey, that's fucked up. And I agree that we should have ranked choice voting or something that makes a third party an option. But at the very minimum, we need to dismantle the Electoral College system. And one of the strongest pieces of evidence against it is the fact that no Republican president in our lifetimes, Blake, has won the popular vote.
I agree. I know. Yeah, I'm familiar.
Okay.
But
so I just disagree with the way that you vote. I just think that you vote in a way that doesn't make sense, in a way that it's like not very strategic. You can vote your conscience. I don't care. Just be quiet about it.
Well, okay. I mean, I'm not talking about this to like encourage anybody. I'm talking about this to like, okay. I mean, I don't know. You know, when I found you guys, right, a couple of months ago, and I've been listening to you guys for a while. Well, I mean, a couple of months. You know, like it seemed like you guys were like principled, whatever the word is, whatever the word is, against, you know, the Democratic establishment and the way things are right now. And yes, I get that we have to have some compromises. I get that we have to, like, obviously, none of us wanted Biden. Obviously, none of us want, you know, Chuck Schumer in there or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Right? Obviously. But, like, you know, we have to eventually, like, coalesce around somebody to stop these people. Because the way I see it, and I think probably the way, I honestly, Luxander, I'm not so familiar with your political ideology, but Jimmy, the way
I'm an anarchist.
I think you probably agree with me.
With a socialist intermediary position.
What?
I'm an anarchist. I believe in socialism as an intermediary step. So I'm like on board with most of Jimmy's socialist positions.
Okay, I did not know that. I wasn't trying to like diminish you or anything, to be clear.
I always find I find it so very interesting when people say the coalesce people, like we need to coalesce behind and then it's literally like but you don't actually believe
that's
that.
not what you do.
It's only a value a value to you. No, I already told you and I wasn't lying. The next hold on was going to be you done. So goodbye.
Okay.
We'll try again another day. There's no fucking telling me to hang on. That isn't what's happening here, guys.
I realized, yeah, he told me to hold on and we didn't hang up on him, but that's okay.
I was getting some Discord messages I was
You're
reading.
Fine.
Like there is no hold on from you. That's not how it fucking works, guys. And you don't in the middle of my point. The coalesce thing is so strange when people are like, hey, we need to get our candidate and then they must come to support us. But they're going to point to us as the reason why they're not going to because we didn't support them. The actual thing we need to do is if Gavin Newsom or anybody else is the candidate, we need to have once again another Bernie-like robust challenge. One with the hope that Bernie-like challenge actually does break through. But then two, that we get the effect of something like we had with the guy before, with Biden and with Bernie. We want to get whoever the next candidate is pulled to the left by the primary challenge. I got distracted by reading one of the notes.
Yeah.
That's what it has to be. Biden got pulled to the left. It was better than he was going to be because there was such a progressive and sock dem challenge. And he ended up governing better because of it. And that was a lot of why it was harder because we didn't get an actual primary. That's why it was harder to do it with Kamala Harris. So that's just what it is. It's what it is, where we're at.
I'm going to re-register to vote because when I registered, I just did unaffiliated. And so we don't have open primaries here. So I'm like, I want to be able to participate in the primary season. It's important to me. So I'm going to re-register and register as a Democrat so that I can participate. Because I agree. Like, I think the primary is the time to vote your conscience, as it were, to put on the pressure to say, fuck Gavin Newsom, he's a piece of shit. Maybe not so strongly if you're wanting to flip it around later and be like, this is our guy. Like, I also think that there is value in being able to say, this isn't my first choice, and I don't even particularly like this candidate, but I am going to vote for them because this is still our best option, rather than being like, this guy sucks and I'm not going to vote for him because my vote doesn't matter. It's like, there's so many things about that. You're reinforcing the idea that your vote doesn't matter, which even people in swing states believe that. And yeah, I just think overall, it's primaries are the time to push your agenda and then like fall in line so that we can get our guy elected and then become an asshole again to that person. Like fucking, like if Harris was the president, we'd be like, hey, excuse me, divest from Israel. We're going to protest you and all this kind of shit. Like, you can still criticize them heavily once they get in office, but that period between the primaries and the general, we really need people to kind of lock in.
Yeah. Let's see. Do 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 do. Ba, 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 ba. 1 second, just checking on something here.
Mm-hmm. Also, every time I say anything about being an anarchist, I see people in the chat who are like, fucking call in, bitch. You don't know anything.
Yeah. You guys aren't good at this.
No.
Hang on, I'm going to send you a message real quick.
Y'all don't even know what words mean, so don't play with me. Also, have you hit the like button yet? If you're in there and you haven't hit like, please do it.
Double click that screen, hit the like button. All right, let's check our call queue here. Let's go to who's interesting? Well, we already talked to Jim last week. I don't know how interested I am with another Jim, but maybe that one. I'm 1000% that Brenton is a groiper calling in to see if he can spam. So I don't know, whatever that gets their dry dicks like happy. Look, it's how do you satisfy a dry dick? I don't know, groipers. You guys have not figured it out yet. It's kind of this. This is what they do. They try and they call a show. I'm unimpressed. I mean, it's clearly like a quote unquote raid, but they've only had 2 or 3 people actually give it a shot. It's I don't know. Whatever makes you guys happy, but we're gonna skip you for the moment. Jim, you're calling back. Jim from Florida. We've talked before, man. I don't really understand why. We already know that you think that all Muslims deserve to die, and that the reason you hate Muslims is because you think they want you to die, so you want to kill all of them. Meaning that it's not actually a value of yours. You're more genocidal than any of them speak to be. So, Jim, I don't know what we would do with this. You know.
What would I do with what?
It sounds like you're just going to repeat that you want to. So, like, you're saying you called in, bomb the hell out of Iran. You're not actually interested in a safe Iran. You don't want Iran talked back over to the people. You want Iran, like, just annihilated. You want all of Iran dead, not like a peaceful Iran.
No, I have no problem with them going back and staying in their own country and leaving us alone.
Well, last week you said kill them all.
They're at, I got no problem.
Last week you said kill them all. Also, we know that they were leaving us alone. So why did we bomb them in the first place?
Well, you answer that question, but I can tell you.
The question's to you.
Said, yeah, well, I can tell you from my standpoint still is that they are still an immediate threat to our economy, to our country, and to other countries. They've already bombed several other countries around them. So are they not an immediate threat or not? I mean, which is it?
The question is whether or not we should be bombing Iran, and the justification Donald Trump has given was specifically that the threat they had was nuclear, and his own head of counterterrorism quit this week because he said it wasn't true.
Okay, so it isn't true, but he did also say that they may not have them now, but they will have them eventually if we
But they've been saying that for decades. They've been saying that for decades. Right. And you know what the international community agreed actually did help with all of that shit? Was the Iran deal under Obama, that they were getting further and further away, and plus they had constant monitoring. So the bombing thing we're doing to them actually does motivate them to be violent back against us. There is no justification. The only justification for the war in Iran was Israel really wanted us to do it. That's it.
So
that's all we got.
So let me get this. So let me get this right. We were justified in giving them, what was it, $150 billion that never actually got to them, but we were justified in giving them that money to quiet them down. Is that what you're saying? So we're going to bribe our enemy now. Is that right?
No. What are you talking about? Bribe our enemy?
Well, the $150 billion was about
what was that
bribing them to
$150 billion?
keep them out of the nukes.
That was their money. It was unfreezing their assets, giving them their money back if they agreed to not get nukes. You're saying that you want them to not be a nuclear threat. So why not make them not a nuclear threat instead of motivating them to want to be a nuclear threat more?
Well, if you believe that we actually gave them $150 billion back, that's okay. I don't believe it ever made it to them to begin with. Like I said before, you don't palletize money and send it to a country when you can, click, click, click on the computer, keyboard and hit send. You just don't do that. That's unheard of. I mean, look at what we're doing with Ukraine. Same stupid crap. We're supporting a country that's no good for us. As a matter of fact, Zelensky even said the other day that, oh no, we're not going to help you out with drones until you give us money. Well,
wait, hold on. You're okay with interfering and bombing Iran, but you're not okay with defending Ukraine, which is
no, I'm not.
One of our allies?
No, I don't like Ukraine. Don't give a shit about them. Don't care about Russia. Don't care about China. But should we be supporting their war? No, we shouldn't.
Do you think we shouldn't interfere there, but we should interfere with Iran? So Jimmy was saying earlier, Iran hasn't directly threatened us in any way. And you said earlier that they bombed. Hold on, Jim. 1 second. You said earlier that Iran is threatening its neighbors, and that's why we need to bomb them. But if you don't give a shit about helping Ukraine, then why would you give a shit about helping the countries around Iran? Those are brown people.
I give a shit about us. I care about.
Okay, then why would we
country.
interfere? Why would we get involved in a war that we didn't need to be in? It had nothing to do with us.
Because they have threatened us with hypersonic missiles. They have threatened us with the other types.
Was there any imminent intelligence indicating that we were about to be under attack, right now?
No, but you have to.
Okay, then what justification could we possibly have for bombing another country? For bombing them, killing their children, killing little girls, killing babies as young as 2 months old?
Listen, there's always consequences in war. I know that
but
subject
why are we
came
in the
up
war?
last time.
Justify the war. You have to justify the war, Jim. This is an illegal war.
No, it's not.
But you're saying what you just said was, there's consequences in war. But what I'm saying is this shouldn't even be a war. We are just bombing a country that posed no imminent threat to us by your own admission.
Anyway.
By your own admission, they posed no immediate threat to us. Why are we bombing them?
There shouldn't be any wars anyway, regardless of where you're at.
Then you should oppose this war. Why do you not oppose this war? Do you have any consistent ideology whatsoever?
I don't want those,
Jim knows who he wants dead.
I don't want those fools in my country. That's why.
Okay, so you want to kill them while they're still in their own country? Is that that's the objective behind this war?
Who is
brown people
country?
Before they can come here?
Who is our country?
America.
Who's the our? Right. So anyone who's
mine.
America.
I was born here. It's my country.
Sure. Okay. Is it Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's country?
No, it is not.
She was born here.
Not.
She was born here.
No, she wasn't.
Yes, she was.
No, she wasn't.
Yes, she was.
I guess you think Barack Obama was born here too, right?
There's yes, of course I do, because it's also been proven even by your King Trump. But what evidence do you have? Do you not believe brown people are born in America? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez isn't even that old. She's not. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez isn't a Muslim. AOC isn't a Muslim.
Don't belong here.
AOC isn't a Muslim. So is America for AOC?
She's Middle
Is this her
Eastern.
country? Excuse me, what?
She's
No, she
Middle
isn't.
Eastern.
Andrea Ocasio-Cortez? That strikes you as a Middle Eastern name for you?
Well, let's put it this way. She votes and speaks for Muslims and
for people
and whoever else
because
is
there
over
are
in the
Muslim
Middle
Americans. You said that this is your country because you were born here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Okay. She
she's
was
a
born
communist.
here.
I'm not.
Many Muslims.
She's
She's not a communist. I wish she was.
Okay.
Communists are way more bearable than liberals.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah, liberals
so
are gross, and she goes way too
socialists
liberal
are too?
way too
Is
often.
that what you're?
I
So
love
you think
socialists.
socialists are as well?
Jim, do you not know who you're talking to? I have a very
I know who
personal
I'm
reason
talking
to
I'm
prefer
talking to
socialists.
somebody that was born Mormon.
Mormon
That's
in
who I'm
America,
talking to. You
and
were
guess
born
who?
Mormon.
Guess what, buddy? And guess what, buddy? I am right now, this very day, a socialist.
I'm sorry for you. Feel bad for you.
Do you?
Because if
I
you
feel sorry
believe
for
if
you.
you believe in the socialist construct, you
Uh-huh.
you will find out that socialism has never worked. And you know that
You sure
through
about that?
history. It
You
has
sure about
never
that?
worked.
Interesting.
Yes.
Hey, Jim. What kind of country would you say China is, in your assessment?
It has become more of a democracy in the latter
Democracy,
years. So it is
socialism, and democracy are not. Those aren't antonyms. You can have a democratic socialist country. Would you say they're capitalist, or would you say they're socialist?
No, we're capitalists. They
So
are.
what would you say China is?
They're communists, but
okay, and you know that communism
definitely-
is a subset of socialism, right? You know that communism is a subset of socialism, right?
I agree, but they have
Okay, no,
moved
hang on,
in the
Jim.
direction of capitalism.
Hang on, Jim. No, they've moved in the direction of, I would argue they're actually, you think, this is why I asked what you think. I would argue that they are currently a type of state capitalist, but people like you call in and say socialism's never worked, but also that you think China is socialist, meaning that you do think it has worked in the second most powerful country in the world.
So let me ask you this, because socialism is all about everybody gets their fair share, correct?
That's
everybody
one of
gets their share.
That's one of the ideas.
Everybody's supposed.
Yeah, you can describe it that way. I'm certain the way that you're now going to take that somewhere. I would put it most simply that in a world with so many resources now to be able to connect everybody, where starvation, poverty, and any type of medical insecurity and shit is a choice, socialism says it's against it. It is the political or the economic system that says you never make the choice to leave your fellow human behind. You do realize
the reason why socialism fails is because everybody doesn't do their fair share.
I realize that that's why capitalism fails, actually. I realize that the reason why capitalism fails is that there are people whose business is having money and then using that money to buy the work of other people and then get the money for that innovation. And so capitalism has failed because we are disproportionately paying people, not for their exceptional contributions, but for the fact that they already had money and were already rich.
Well, I mean, that's okay, because here's the thing, and here's what you don't understand is the fact that if we didn't have people with money, would you have a job right now? Would you have a computer in front of you? Would you have food on your table? Would you have medical health care? Would you have any of that?
Jim, yeah, all of those things. Socialism isn't when there's no stuff.
So you believe in the theory that you'll own nothing and be happy? Is that what you're implying?
Are you saying that private ownership is a myth? Yeah, of course I do believe in that theory.
But that's not the same
nothing's
as
free in America.
Jim, that's not the same as having no personal property. It's if you want to just have a call where we educate you on what socialism means,
I
guess that's the call we can have.
Socialism means.
No, you don't.
I know what the grounds for socialism are.
We are socialists. We are socialists. And you are coming in here asking us the type of questions that indicate that you don't understand the political theory, which is fine because it's a really complex political theory, just like, capitalism is a political theory with a lot of different things going on. Like, how do we get people's needs met, right? Right now in the capitalist system, well, one second, because in the capitalist system right now that we have, our main priority isn't addressing people's needs. most of the things that we do have the end goal of making profit, and we tend to cut corners in other places. Like, Jim, I don't know if you've ever worked like a really intense physical trade job. I have. And one of the number one things that happens in those environments is that safety is sacrificed for the purposes of getting things done faster because that's more profitable. Like, I've been asked to go against company safety policies for the purpose of getting things done fast enough. What we advocate for is an economic system where we do things because they're good for people, even if it doesn't maximize profit. Like, if we just redirect that and we say safety is always the most important thing actually, because no matter what, everybody who's involved in this situation is being paid a fair amount and no one's going to lose out on a bonus or the money that they need to pay for their kids, soccer practice or whatever. We just want to redirect the goals and keep a lot of the systems in place.
Yeah.
Well, see, I don't have children, and I don't want to support somebody else's children. So, see, that's the problem with socialism right there.
Okay, well, what if I don't like you, Jim, and I don't want my tax dollars to go toward putting out the fire at your house? Let's say your house is on fire, and I don't want to pay the taxes because I hate you and I want your house to burn down. Let's just say
I pay my taxes. I pay the fire department here to take care of the fire if it burns down.
Do parents.
I pay that.
So do parents.
Yeah.
Do you think that they shouldn't?
So
that
do
the tax
Muslims.
dollars shouldn't support their children?
I shouldn't have to support anybody. I shouldn't have to support you or anybody else. I support
You weren't
myself.
listening.
That's
this
the
is
way
what I
it
just
should
said.
be.
What I just said was
I shouldn't have to support you or anybody else. He literally just said he participates in a tax system that other people are supporting. You don't pay enough in taxes to pay for that firehouse. You and all the people around you pay for that firehouse.
That's
so
correct.
Other people are supporting you.
Yeah. No,
and you live in
not
America
really.
right now in an infrastructure where people are supporting you. You are culturally supported, though I remember you saying that you don't have any family or any people and that you're, as I recall, you saying, Jim, that you were going to die alone. What did you do for a living, Jim?
I'm a truck driver and I was an auto mechanic. So
how much money would you guess?
I did have some intense.
Do you feel like as a truck driver,
do
you feel like you were paid fairly as a truck driver?
Yes and no. Yes and no. There's parts and portions of the trucking industry that a lot of people don't understand. And and here's another wrong thing about socialism, okay? Do you understand?
I have my line of
trucking-
questions. Let's get to yours in a moment.
Okay,
so you
go
don't
ahead.
believe you were always paid fairly. Do you feel like the amount of money you made your company affected in any way how, like if your company made a shit ton more money because of your labor, did you get a piece of it?
Mm-hmm. I got a piece of it, but I didn't get what I feel like I should have. But then again, I signed up for what I got paid. So what I agreed to was
Jim, you signed
fair.
up for what you got paid because in a capitalist society, that was your option. I've also worked jobs that I was underpaid. So to be like, but I signed up for it as opposed to what? You were going to go be the CEO of Apple? I don't fucking think so, Jim.
That's called a hostage situation.
I think last time someone handed you an Apple device, you tried to eat it.
Huh. Well, I mean, I guess you're going on that crystal ball theory again. But look, it boils down to this, okay? In the trucking industry, we work far more hours than you guys can ever imagine. Do you realize that although there's 70 hours
Jim
to
thinks
drive,
I've just heard about trucking and driving and how hard it is. And Jim, you just accused me of right. You just accused me of crystal balling. You don't know how fucking hard I work. You don't know how much labor I put into my company. You don't know how hard I've worked.
You don't work hard?
Yeah. No, Jim, you just said I can never imagine the hours. You did. You just said I can never imagine the hours. And you know what? I bet I've worked more hours than you.
I bet you don't.
I bet I did and do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a 70-hour clock. Are you aware of that for drivers? You're allowed to drive 70 hours in a week. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that there are certain breaks that they have to give you. They're only allowed to require you in so much in an order. And if you think 70 hours is a work week,
Well,
is
that's
intimidating
the myth.
to me. Oh my God, bro.
Wait a minute.
I have weeks
That's
where the
the
only
myth.
times I'm not working is when I'm sleeping. Are you joking?
That's the myth behind it, brother. That's what you
I
don't
see.
understand. The
I see.
70 hours is a myth because the other hours that we spend waiting to get loaded, waiting to get unloaded, like me, I'm a tanker driver.
Yeah.
I feel
So
you,
I
Jim.
wait-
I've worked in situations with people who do shipping. Like I understand that it's grueling.
Right.
So,
It
and
is.
it sounds to me, Jim, let me see if I can summarize. What you're saying is you worked in an industry that presents, we're supposedly giving you X number of dollars for X amount of labor. But in fact, that industry exploits you way, way more than any of all of those things.
Of course,
that you're
all
actually
of them
like
do.
super exploited. And unfortunately, in the current system we have now, there's not really a good way around it. You just have to accept who you get and what you get. So what you're saying is in capitalism,
No, you don't have to accept it.
What you're saying is
You
in
don't have
capitalism
accept it.
to
You can go get
thrive.
another job.
Is it that easy, Jim? You can just do it.
Yes,
You can
it's
just
that
do it,
easy.
Jim.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
You
I
can
can
go
I
be
can-
an engineer,
I
Jim.
can go down the street right now today, and I can find 100 jobs.
Jim, no,
pay as
first of all, Jim, paying enough, a livable wage is one thing. And then two, Jim, you think that these companies don't conspire with each other to set those terms. Literally, market
Of
rates
course
for
they
jobs
do.
are set by CEOs who are saying, Jim, who is a great trucker, we want to make sure his options are limited. So you can't go even with the on-demand contracts further than this with it. We don't want to set a new standard that truckers should accept X dollars amount more. And you're apparently content without all of that shit. I don't understand why the trolls think we haven't. Hey guys, I know you're doing your thing over there and stuff, but we have figured it out. We know which ones are you guys calling. Like we figured out a very easy system to flag it, to like figure it out. I said flag it. Don't get excited, boys. I know you're watching right now. I said flag it. Listen, guys. I know what gets you excited. Sorry. Hang on, Jim. It's not you. It's the we have people who are calling in as trolls. They're just kind of wasting their time because we figured out a system to flag them. So it's like if you guys want to keep it up here, I mean, we like having you guys in the live viewer count. It helps with our algorithm and stuff. But don't get too excited. I said flag it. Anyway, Jim, why am I broing it up with gropers? Why am I being nice to gropers?
You're a goober.
Oh, man, you silly guys.
I'm not saying that I'm totally content with everything. All I'm saying is I've got friends of mine in the industry, and they'll call me up and they're bitching and griping. Oh, I didn't get paid for layover. Oh, I didn't get paid for sitting at the tank wash or in the shop or whatever. And I told them flat out, if you don't like what you're doing and you don't like what you're getting paid or not getting paid, leave. Go find something, but don't sit and complain.
Is there another job that pays as well as trucking? Like if you were looking to get out of your position, what would you look into, Jim? Like what would be the direction you would go with that? Because I want to just say, Jim, that I think it's fucked up that you have been expected to work 70 plus hours a week for your entire trucking career. I don't think that we should do that. I understand why that is. It's because profit is being prioritized over your well-being. You don't have a family because you haven't had fucking time to meet someone. Right. And I think that sucks. Right. And if you did have a family, you wouldn't be able to be home with your kids as much as you should have. That's my principles as a socialist. Now, I would like to move into the question.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So
I appreciate you saying that.
Thank you. I want you to understand that we are pro-workers above almost everything else when it comes to our political positions here. We are pro-worker. So if you were moving into another field, if you're ready to stop trucking, you want to meet a woman and have a family, whatever, where would you move that was going to make the same amount of money and hopefully not work you as hard?
I would move to Alaska.
Well, but what kind of job would you get is what I meant.
Anchorage, Alaska, and I'll tell you why. Because there are loads out there that pay extremely good money. Like, for instance, I can take a load as an owner-operator. I can take a load out of Texas going to Alaska for $35,000. And that's
but
a 7-day
you're saying
trip.
that you would not leave trucking. And I know that you don't want to leave trucking because you haven't yet. But if you were one of those guys who really didn't like it and you wanted to do something else, what would you do, or what would you recommend to your friend? Hey, try this out. this will make you the amount of money and it will, you know, have you on the road less or whatever. Like it'll, you know, get more time at home. What kind of job would you suggest someone move into from trucking?
If you're talking about blue collar, which is what I am, if you're talking about blue collar, I'd be talking about, you know, possibly going into AC, home AC, business AC, possibly going into auto mechanics, motorcycle mechanics, boat mechanics.
Those are all good recommendations. And you know that all of those require some amount of learning. And
yes,
if you're full-time, if you're full-time 70 hours on the road, sir, I'm about to go to school. I'm working through the process of like financial aid, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to go to school for engineering later this year.
Awesome.
And that's going to be 20 credit hours and thousands of dollars of tuition. And I'm going to have to cut other things out of my life. Like I'm probably going to have to stop cooking dinner. I cook dinner for my family most nights. I might have to cut back on my other job, not this one, but my other job. Like, where are you going to make the sacrifices as a trucker to get a new career? Like, I'm going to learn how to be an auto mechanic, or I'm going to learn a brand new skill so that I can get a new job. Where are you getting the time for that?
Well, I have automotive experience because I was a mechanic before I started driving a truck. I've been driving a truck for 38 years. So I do have some truck mechanical as well as automotive mechanical. And today's cars they're not as difficult as they used to be. You don't have to worry about the standard ignition systems and everything else.
Sure, Jim.
Let's not get too in the. Let's not start. This isn't car talk. Let's.
The premise of my question, Jim, is let's assume you didn't have that, right? Like we didn't like. You know, I grew up and my parents didn't have skills that they could pass on to me. My partner did. Right. Like my husband built the deck with his dad when he was a kid, and he was
right.
Purchased things that he could build and disassemble, and like he has a lot more practical skills because my parents were poor and couldn't afford that. So I have to go get the skills, right? Like I didn't have someone paying for my college when I was 18. So I have to do it now in my 30s, right? My point is, you are locked in a system, and many of your coworkers are locked in a system that is unjustly prioritizing profit over your well-being. It locks you into a situation where even if you wanted to go to school to learn like let's say you want to be an electrician. Electrician's a damn good paying job.
Yes, it is.
You have to do technical school or take a severe pay cut to do an apprenticeship. And apprentices are expected to do things that young men can do. And I bet you can't do those things, right? So we need to reorient our thinking about how we do business, right? And that's what socialism is to us. We think workers should be prioritized. The well-being of workers should be prioritized. Your wages should be prioritized. You should have health care that isn't dependent on your job, Jim. If you lost your job and suddenly you don't have health insurance anymore, and then, let's say you get a new job tomorrow and it takes 3 months for it to kick in, what happens to you in that 90 days? Like, we just think that we should reorient those priorities.
Yeah, I did lose my job, as a matter of fact, back in September of last year, and I've been unemployed since, but that's by my choice. I don't have to go back to work right now, but I will.
You worked yourself ragged and you have savings. You know, like that's, you know, it's, I'm not saying that you didn't work hard to give yourself a bit of cushion for the savings. I'm just saying, like, when it comes to workers' rights, when it comes to people, that's where our priority is. And if I just want you to take away anything from this conversation, is that socialists care about workers. And I want you to know that we probably have a lot more in common than you think. Like, we've both worked hard.
Well,
Jimmy and I have both worked hard. Yeah. So
sounds like
maybe
we've got a lot in common.
I like brown people, though.
I like brown people, though. That's a big difference. Like, I
appreciate brown people's labor, for example. The fact that they are often a big part of our labor force and all the protections that I'm saying
as long as they're legal, yes. As long as they're legal, yes. I got no problem with them coming here.
Except for you already said you don't like them if they're legal and Muslim.
That part I don't like, but Mexicans or anybody else, I got no problem. But
you said you don't like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She is I think she's Latin American. I don't know exactly where from. She's not Muslim. And you're saying she's not an American.
Okay. I got her mixed up with the other one. The one that wears the
Ilhan Omar.
Where's the? Yeah, that's who I'm thinking of.
And she is a legal immigrant. She is a naturalized citizen.
She was not born here, and you know that.
So I know she wasn't born here. My mother wasn't born here.
She legally went through the process of becoming a citizen, right?
Hey, do you know what's really funny, Jim? This is how I know that you just repeat things that you don't know. There actually isn't proof that that is true, and it has been rebuffed so many times. So you just repeat things that you hear on like Newsmax and shit, but that's actually not proven to be true.
Okay, well, let me ask you this: where do you get your news? Okay, because I get my news like anybody else does. I probably
watch all of your right wing outlets too. I mostly through Reddit curate a Reddit feed that exposes me to a lot of right wing and left wing shit. Then I tend to go and check out what Fox and Newsmax and the like are saying.
Right.
If anything, I am exposing myself more to right wing news. Also, as a leftist, there's nobody really doing us, especially in media. Like even the Democrats liberals and Democrats are fucking gross pieces of shit who need to get their shit together and take an actual stand and stop putting Band-Aids on gushing wounds. They're fucking dumb.
All right. So here's the reason why I asked that. Okay. I don't believe everything the right says. Okay. There's parts of it that I do believe, and there's parts that I believe on the left side as well. But here's the thing, and the reason why I asked that question is you don't know anything for fact unless you see it happen right before your very eyes.
I think that's a ridiculously silly standard. I think that you can accomplish gathering a lot of evidence, and this is almost getting to the level of solipsism. You just don't know anything for an actual fact, but you can make a very strong case. And you should still you should still align yourself with what is most likely the truth. And Jim, I think that when I go and I read all of the information and try to find especially what they're trying to either distract us from or not show us and make that case, I am doing a better job aligning myself with what is almost certainly true than I think what you do, Jim, which is that you embrace anything you want to be correct.
No, I don't.
And then you say anything you don't want to be correct is just a lie. I know you do, Jim, because we talked about the stats of like Muslim violence and shit last time you called, and you're just sure that they all want to kill all Americans. You think 100% of Muslims want to kill all non-Muslims, and it's not even close to true.
Did you forget about the fact? Oh, you weren't even born then. But did you forget about the fact that Iran took our people hostage back in the 70s? Do you remember that? You weren't old enough for you.
Of course, I don't remember it firsthand, but I'm aware of the history of our country and that region. And I'm also aware that every step of the way, everything you're going to introduce, you're going to find some way America before that overstepped and very much
of course
put
it's
themselves.
My country.
America is why a lot of these things happened. America is directly responsible for 9/11. My guy, this is like
I agree with you 100%.
I doubt it. I'm going to guess that you're more like truther level agree, not.
Oh no! I believe the towers were brought down by our government.
Yeah, so we don't agree 100% because I still believe that Osama bin Laden and the plane hijacking thing happened because I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Sure it did.
I, however, connect all of that. I don't think the government intentionally meant for it to happen.
Oh yes.
Right, Jim. And so Jim, you'll forgive me. You'll forgive me if I have a hard time listening to you and going, yeah, man. You definitely align yourself with the truth, even as you sit here and you speak so confidently, but then say, but you don't know anything you didn't see with your own eyes as a fact. Well, you're treating it like that 9/11 stuff was a fact and you didn't see shit.
You're right. I saw it on TV just like you did, like anybody else did. But let me say one more point to you.
You do know there are a lot of people who didn't just see it on TV, including my family, who were actively on the phone with because we're from New York.
Do you know what the chemical thermite is?
Yes, I'm not going to do truth or conspiracies today. I already know about the... Dude, every single one of the ones you guys have, if fire can't, jet fuel can't melt steel, all those things, there has been engineer after engineer who have come and been like, hey, you kind of suck at this. This is how that actually works. So go take it up with one of those engineers. I'm not interested in more of the truth or conspiracies. I wish it was simple. I wish it was true because it would be simpler. It would be simpler that we just are obviously the bad guys. Instead, we make ourselves culpable in those situations, but we virtue signal our way out of it like we're the good guys. There's a reason why we're not being viewed the way Nazi Germany was, despite the fact that we just funded a Nazi-level genocide in Gaza.
Yeah,
I knew you wouldn't agree with that.
I didn't say I didn't agree with it. I didn't say anything about I didn't agree with it.
You do believe we committed a genocide of the Muslim people of Gaza?
Well, we haven't killed them all, but we've
That's not what genocide means.
Of course. Yes.
What is the genocide?
Killing them all. It's killing it is. It's killing a group of people that you don't like.
Hey, Jim, are there still Jews?
Yes.
So how are there still Jews if the Nazis committed genocide? So did they not commit genocide, or they did commit genocide of the Jews?
They didn't commit genocide because they didn't finish their task. Hitler wanted all the Jews killed.
Jim, whether or not you complete killing all... Yeah, my guy, you don't know what a genocide is. You know the way you've heard it used. That literally isn't. Whose definition of genocide are you using, Jim? Maybe that's the problem. What source definition are you using? Okay, but where did you didn't invent any of the words you said, so where did you get this definition of genocide?
That's my definition of it. In order
for
it to be a genocide, you have to wipe the race out.
But where did you learn that? Because I want to know where you learned that, because the United Nations and like the international community, the definition of genocide as it was established is the intent. It's the intent to destroy in whole or in part a group of people based on certain characteristics. So it's
more so in whole though.
Well, but that's not the definition legally. If you try to eradicate a people, or you try to eradicate most of them because of certain characteristics, then that is genocide, even if you didn't succeed in killing all of them. Like, just because some pocket of them survived or you were stopped before you finished doesn't make it not genocide. So we would like to know where your definition came from.
Okay.
It's not even finished. Isn't even required. An attempt to finish isn't even required. You can commit a genocide to a single country. Like, they can just say, I only want to genocide all the Muslims in Gaza, as seemed like kind of the case.
It's destroying in whole or in part the group of people.
Or a big enough group of them to basically make them, bomb them back to a third world country, because it doesn't even have to be killing them. You can just be causing serious harm to them.
Genocide is a legal term. It's a crime. It's a legal term.
Jim, did you know that if I passed a law that said no Christians are allowed to give birth, that's technically genocide? I don't have to kill a single person, but if I prevent you from giving birth, that's genocide.
It is.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Yeah, but there's a lot of people that shouldn't have children to begin with anyway, so where do you stop?
What a wild fucking thing to say after my example.
I'm not surprised that you are also a eugenicist.
Jesus Christ.
No, let me tell you, there's a lot of people on this earth that don't deserve to have children. Okay? Flat out.
Hey Jim, guess what?
Know that
we should make sure
live on welfare for the rest of your life.
You know what? We should make sure that everybody has a quality, well-paying job. That's what we should do. We should make sure every job makes people enough money.
That's not possible,
that
because we're not all equal. So that's not.
Were you ever in a truckers union? Were you ever in a truckers union?
No.
All right. Well, it makes a little more sense that you weren't adequately paid.
I just want to understand something. I just want to understand something, Jim. If you have a corporation, like a company, where the CEO gives himself $500,000 million a year, I'm just making up a crazy number because the specific number doesn't matter, Jim. If you know the CEO of fucking Amazon is like a multi-billionaire, and you know that the employees make less than is required to pay rent for a 1-bedroom apartment in their state. So like they can't even afford a place for themselves, much less affording a kid. Do you think there's nothing in the world? Hold on, Jim. I have a really specific question I want to ask you. Do you think there's nothing at all we can do to regulate that system so that the CEO is not making a quadrillion, billion, million, it might as well be fake money amount of dollars, and his lowest employees cannot afford to raise children? Do you think there's nothing we could possibly do to solve that problem?
Utopian world, bro. They're doing this in other countries.
I'm not even asking to make the millionaire not a multi-billion quadrillionaire. I'm just saying, like, maybe we could take them from a double, triple billionaire to like a 1 billionaire, or like from billionaire down to like hundreds of millionaires, so that the people can earn enough money to raise children.
Actually, Jim, I can tell you why. Jim, I can tell you why, because you're asking why we should do that. If you don't, the eventual consequences, we will kill, not we as in me, we as in the workers, the laborers, will kill the people. And I'll explain to you why. And Jim, you'll probably understand, I hope, that historically this has been true. Money isn't money. And unfortunately, that's all people treat it as. Money is security. Money is the security of having a place to live, being able to eat, access to resources, and access to fun things. And if you have a small group of people who are hoarding all of the security, in as much that you have a larger group of people who are having to split the scraps of the security, one day they realize, look how many there are of us. We can all have security and we only have to eat like 10 dudes.
That'll never happen.
That's the pragmatic way. Sir, it's happened.
Historically,
this is what happens. This is when governments get overthrown, monarchs get overthrown. We currently live in an oligarchy, and with the continued oppression of the working class, the day is going to come where people are going to go, if I have no security, why don't I just kill the people who are taking it from me?
We also don't even need to take this to that logical extreme, Jim. We are already in a situation where the people who don't have enough are turning against each other, where people are stealing shit more. Like, violent crime is down, but property crimes are going up in lots of places because people have to steal to get basic things because we're not providing them with a good job.
There ain't nobody wants what I got.
Well, that's fine. I'm happy for you, Jim. I know you haven't had an opportunity to make a nice home environment.
You're a 67-year-old incel, buddy. I get it. I'm not interested.
No, I'm 63. Don't make me
63-year-old incel.
I'm 63.
My bad.
But here's the thing, okay?
I am too.
If everybody lived within their means, okay?
How?
And when I say that,
Jim,
how?
Jim, hold on 1 second. Hold on. Not in one single state in this great union can the minimum wage, which was originally established for the intention of the minimum wage was so that a single income earner could raise a family. That was the original point of the minimum wage.
Not raise a family, to train. That's that's not what the original intention was.
That's the reason that the minimum wage was established, point blank period. The explicit reason was so that one man could earn enough income to support his wife and children.
No, ma'am.
That is the point of the minimum wage.
With that.
I'm not,
I
don't care.
With you because
you
I
are
grew up in the old school.
Jim, you are disagreeing with the historical fact. FDR, so it was in like the 30s. It was way before you were born. So I know you don't remember. That's fine. The historical fact is that the minimum wage is supposed to support an entire family. I'm not even necessarily advocating for that right now, Jim. I'm just advocating for a basic amount of money that you could raise a family on.
So let me.
Let's say both parents are even working, but in this state, if you are in every state in this union, if you are a single person and you're working, even if you're making more than minimum wage in a lot of places, it's not enough to afford a 1-bedroom apartment working a full-time job. So what do you mean live within your means? It's not a matter of living within your means. It's a matter of greedy assholes stealing your paycheck from you.
Well, again, if this was a utopian world, you wouldn't have that going on.
It's not. I don't want a utopia, Jim. That's not realistic. I'm not a fucking child. I want to regulate the system as it is. I want to say, hey, quadrillion billionaire, you can earn $1 billion less dollars and still have hundreds of millions of dollars, so that all of your workers are not having to work 3 jobs and they're not worried about whether they're going to be able to pay for their kids' meals or whether they can pay their electric bill that's going up. Like, all of these costs are going up.
So let me ask you a question. If you buy a car and you have to finance it and make payments on it, or you buy a home and you have to finance it and pay payments on that, could you
that's how it
afford that
works when
home?
you don't have any money. Yeah.
You could? How can you afford it? Just because you make the payments?
So I don't know what the point is that you're driving toward here.
The point that I'm driving at is that people today, and this is why we're in the gut-wrenching situation that we're in this world, is because people want. They never live by their needs. They live by their
wants. We have so many billionaires in this country who don't earn their way.
Well, I beg to differ with you on that, but
you're saying that what you're trying to do is say that like literally millions and millions of people aren't working correctly and aren't budgeting correctly, and you're not willing to say that these 10 guys are leeching off of society. You think the problem is millions of hardworking Americans and not 10 assholes hoarding all of the money and stealing your paycheck?
If people aren't happy in what they're making and they can't survive on that, it's like I said, go find a job that will pay you what you want and will pay you what you believe you deserve. They're all over the place. I can find a job.
No, they're not, Jim. And now we're just rotating. We're just going over the same points, Jim, because you're like, lift yourself up by your bootstraps. But the price of college keeps going up. The price of groceries keeps going up.
Too bad.
All of these.
I never went to college.
What do you mean too bad? What do you mean too bad that the cost of living keeps going up and up and up and up and up, and the minimum wage stays the same, and the corporations aren't paying more? The corporations are making more money than they've ever made, and we aren't seeing that. We are being stolen from.
College is so overrated today, and I'll tell you why.
Technical school, it doesn't matter. I went to technical school, and it still cost thousands of dollars. It was still thousands of dollars, and I had to take time off work to be a full-time fucking student.
Right, but students aren't students anymore. They don't look it up in a book per se. They might look it up on the computer, but most people, what do? They go to AI to write a term paper, or they, use AI to finish it.
Jim, completely off of the topic.
Jim, chill.
This has nothing to do with what we've been talking about.
Because literally, once again, you earlier were if you don't see it with your own eyes, then they're not even facts. You're just speculating, and you're kind of like the definition. I think you're Gen X. I was going to call you a boomer, but like the definition of the boomer who's just like, you think you know how you would be able to compete if you were a young person emerging into the market today. And Jim, you're insane. Yeah, and you're wrong, dude. You would fucking fall behind, and you would be held back by a society that was built for you. Your generation got way more benefits, had way better pay, had way less income distribution that was unfair. You had a shot.
You know why you're held back? Do you know why you're held back?
Yes, I do. The unregulated capitalism that is allowed, that has made it where companies are only competitive if they make more money this quarter than last quarter. Otherwise, nope, Jim, I'm not done talking. 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 It has literally been rich people competing with each other, not on are we profitable, but are we more profitable than before, thereby making that if you want to succeed in a company, merely making money doesn't succeed. You have to figure out how to either deliver less for the same cost to the customers, or make your current workforce smaller and take whoever is there, make them do more. So we are motivated to lower wages, to cut jobs, to give you less for the money you are spending. That is why it has gotten so much worse, and compounded over the decades where we took more and more regulations away. We now live in a world where you emerging as an adult with technical school training or even a degree now have so much competition that it's hard to get a job in the first fucking place. And the companies are basically like, yeah, first of all, the company that owns us, they're the ones you just went into debt to be able to get a degree with the promise you'd be able to come and work for us. And we're not even going to have a well-paying job for you. So you're going to be paying us for your education debt for fucking ever. And you're going to be working here. Essentially, you're going to wish for a time where there was a company store, because that will have been better. Capitalism, Jim, has fucked you and is fucking people in ways that you actually can't understand.
And no, I'm trying to tell you why it's like it is. When people feed
I already told you why it is like it is.
That want, when they keep feeding those wants and those desires to have,
Babe,
what do you
bring me a
think
bottle
that's
of water,
going to do?
please?
Instead of stepping back and saying, I'm not going to buy a new car. I'm not going to buy that overpriced bag of chips. I'm not going to buy this overpriced whatever it is, because everything's
the
overpriced.
absolute joke. You are the absolute joke where you are saying there are multi-billionaires. There are multi-billionaires who just have money for the sake of having money, and they're the ones who succeed the most. And the people,
in this world.
Jim, the people who you are mad at are the people who are like, I get fucking shit on. I'm working multiple jobs, can't afford to have my own place. I live in a shitty place with roommates. But you know what? I get a little bit of respite from the little commodity of a Starbucks every once in a while. And you think those are the problems, Jim. You are a fucking joke, dude.
That's not a need. That's a want. When you start living by your needs Jim, stop buying what, companies are selling.
Do you know which kinds of countries are less consumerist? Because you're describing consumerism as the problem.
No, I'm not.
Countries, yes, you are. Yes, you are. Consumerism. You are describing consumerism.
You're saying excessive purchasing and excessive consumption. That's consumerism. And I agree that that's what you're describing. You're describing consumerism. You don't like that people are buying new, shiny things all the time.
That literally is consumerism.
That's consumerism.
Great. So we need a country model where that is valued less. And you know what those models are?
Let me finish.
Economic collectivism.
Just a second. Let me finish my point just a second.
Great.
Because it's happening right now in the automotive industry. People have slowed down, stopped buying cars, so now they've got 2025s and 2024s sitting on the lot that are brand new vehicles. Why? Because people have finally woken up and they've started making a choice that I don't need that new car. I don't need to pay that overpriced vehicle payment, and I can't afford it,
Jim.
because if I could afford it, I wouldn't be going to a bank to buy it. If you can afford it, you can pay for it. Cash money. If you can't afford it,
how many people have tens of thousands of dollars? This is so crazy. I also want to just drill down on this idea, Jim, that you want to live in a country where people don't get to have things that they want. And we're talking millions of people. Like that sounds like.
I want to live in a country where people take a step back and say, I'm gonna hold the line.
So here's the thing, Jim. As a
collective effort of people, I'm going to hold the line until they drop the prices.
A cup of Starbucks cost $5, roughly, like $5.
Ridiculous. I wouldn't pay it.
That doesn't matter, Jim. People should be able to buy something for $5 just because they want it. They shouldn't be having to deprive themselves of $5. Like, Jim, you know that you're allowed
of things
to
every
want
day
things
in my life.
Dude, all right, Jim.
Yeah, we got it.
We're wrapping this up. This call is way too long, but you said that people are finally starting to wake up. Well, that isn't reflected in the debt numbers. More people have gone into debt this quarter than any prior quarter.
People are going into debt to buy groceries.
Right. Literally, it's more debt than ever. And yet you're saying they're finally going, I can't afford that. I don't need that. And yet they're going more into debt. So once again, what you think are facts is not represented by numbers. It is by your own personal speculation. Jim, nobody cares what you're not. You are 63. You got through the lifetime of work shit. And you did okay for yourself. And that doesn't mean anybody else can. Whether you picked yourself up by some bootstraps doesn't mean everybody was born with bootstraps.
I would love to see you start over and do it again today.
Yes, you're
I can do
dead.
it because I can do it because why? Because I know I can do it. I'm not going to sit back and say, "Hey, everybody, feel sorry for me." But I got one foot in the grave.
No, not C. I already told you we're wrapping it up, so we're not adding C. Not C. See, we're not. We're leaving it there, Jim. We get it. You think that for some reason billions of, well, at least tens of millions of people buy these self-help books about just know that you can do it, and then they end up not doing it. So somehow that mindset doesn't work for everybody, but you know, who am I to say why that is? Jim, I guess have a good night, man. I don't know. Fucking Christ. Fucking Christ. I think the Groypers gave up on us.
I feel like things have slowed down a little bit.
Yeah.
It was so frustrating. I know that you wanted to get in on the racism part of it, but I was like, I feel like we could make some progress on the economic points a little bit.
It's one of those things where it's like, you get these people who we can agree on a lot of stuff. Like liberals suck. We agree for different reasons, but liberals suck. Okay. Labor is underpaid. People don't value good work.
Mm-hmm.
But he's sitting there going like, and socialism doesn't work. You're like, the reason why people don't value good work is because they don't have to. A rich person gets to sit there and go, I could pay the person what they're worth, or I could just keep it. I can just have it myself. Like I just keep the money. Why would I give them the money when I can have money?
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fucking just like, my God, that guy.
Well, you have fun with this liberal while I go to the bathroom.
I have to pee.
Oh, well, I called it first.
Yeah, you did. Go ahead. Go ahead. Oh. Just the it is funny, like there's something so bleak about the right wing from the whole spectrum, from the like fascists all the way up to the liberals, but especially the ones in America who call themselves Republicans, conservatives, all that kind of shit. They will recognize the right problems. They will not recognize the good. They basically sit there and they go, here's the problem with the system. So what we need to do is just get brown people out of it. Well, that's not going to fix shit. Or what we need to do is within that system, not change the system, but just like complain about the people who are complaining about this. That's not going to do fucking shit. Then you get some people who are good at like messing with them because they're angry. Like I can get people to watch me talking about their anger, but not offer. Like what meaningful solution has Tucker Carlson or Nick Fuentes offered them? Because it's at the end of the day, they're not going to get fucking shit out of any of it because it's just going to be complaining. And when they successfully deport all of the brown people, they're going to sit there and go, oh shit, do we not actually have skills? Are we not actually willing to do this labor? Oh shit, was our strength actually diversity? Like it doesn't, I don't know, man. The whole thing's just fucking dumb. It's just fucking dumb. I gotta pee. I'm waiting for Lux to get back so then I can pee. Luthien, will you screen that other one? Anyway, if you want to call in good faith, the phone number's right up there, 336-543-2101. We are only taking phone calls. You have to call using the phone line. That has been part of how we've quickly gotten past this. There's another part of the system, but we've been able to quickly get past the little Groyper raid we had today. They try, you know, they're just what it is. It's one of those things where I'm glad I didn't get intercepted by it. I'm glad it didn't exist when I was younger because I worry about like that feeling of being like, oh man, I'm unexceptional. I'm a young white boy and I want more people to look at me and pay attention to me and listen to me. And I feel powerless, but I found a community of people who are basically like, nah, man, you're great. It's weird because with how terrible they are, you can understand if you think about it, how they got there.
So true,
and who
bestie.
knows, maybe one of them will accidentally get radicalized by us. They came in for a raid and they're going to leave trans anime lovers who, I don't know what, fursuits or something. I don't even fursuit, but you know,
it's too fucking
blessings
hot.
to all of you who do. That's true. Oh man, the heat thing alone. All right, I gotta pee. BRB.
Yeah.
Welcome to take the call if you want.
Not going to. I can't imagine being like a really super committed furry, right? Like I used to work at the Renaissance Festival in Kansas City, and y'all know it gets hot in Kansas, especially like the summers are getting longer. So that kind of bleeds into the time that the Ren Fair goes on. But people will come out and it's like 90 degrees and it's fucking humid and people are wearing usually not like a full fursuit. I will at least give credit where credit's due. It's a lot of the time it's just the head and the hands. But I feel like still that's crazy. Maybe this is my disability talking, but that sounds ridiculous. I wouldn't be able to, I'm taking a lot of concerted effort in my health journey to try to get to a point where that's not as much of a problem. But girl, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to deal with, I don't know if I'm ever going to properly be able to deal with the heat, which is so scary. It gets hot up in here. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm seeding you with the idea of me in a fursuit. I'm a scaly. You notice all the dragons everywhere? There's like 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a dragon egg. And then the calendar dragon, 5 dragons. There's another one off screen over here on this side. Yeah, so anyway, I do hope that we are helping de-radicalize some people. I know that there's not a lot that you can do for, especially like people who are really stuck in their ways. Like if we've got somebody who's calling us as a retiree, basically, it's like, yeah, I get that you're stuck in your ways. But I try to find the thing that we can have in common. And like, yeah, obviously I don't countenance the racism, but it's like, if you can at least set aside the racism for 10 seconds and get someone who can like listen to you about shit that like you do have in common, like the grocery store shit, then we can work on the racism later. I just need to get my foot in the door somehow. Nice costume change. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah. I put a hoodie on.
Pretty goal.
Put your hoodie on me.
Yeah.
Put your hoodie on me.
My birthday's next week. Jimmy's birthday was a couple weeks ago, and my birthday's next week. But you can still get your super chats in now. Or go to my throne wish list.
You know what's funny is they did give up.
Yeah.
If one of the gripers would call in good faith and actually like try to debate their political views, I would have totally done that. I would have done it. We don't, unlike gripers, we don't dox people.
It's crazy how we've had some that have waited for like over an hour. We've had ones who've been on the line for like an hour and 40 minutes and then they call in and they start dropping slurs. Yeah. So
they're probably, generally they're in like a Discord or something. Okay, and so they probably have multiple lines and stuff. Yeah. It's a community event. This is what's interesting to them. When your penis is that dry all the time,
you got to do something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does Jimmy only hire March birthdays? It seems like it sometimes. Pardons is later this year, though.
I'm a racist for March birthdays.
True. Spring babies only.
Yeah.
If your parents weren't getting it on over the summer, then I don't want to look at you.
Yeah. I'm always thinking about when I hire somebody, I bring them in and go, now, let me ask you, when were your parents fucking you into existence? Mm-hmm. I don't know why I do a Lorne Michaels voice, but
strange
that's how
choice.
I see myself. Frankly, we're going to go a different direction, Miss September. Anyway.
Indeed.
Bum 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 bum. Biddy-biddy-doo-doo. William in Tennessee. William, you are on the line. Real quick, actually, before we start, William. Conservatives, liberals, people we disagree with, transphobes, all of those people, if you want to call in and make your points, we're not going to be going for a ton longer today. I think we've got less than an hour left. So the phone number's right there, 336-543-2101. And if you have a MAGA dad, you all can call in, tell your MAGA dad to call.
I apologize. I am not none of those. I think I just sort of try to adhere to more liberalism and
I was telling the show watchers, are you like stepped away from your phone some distance? It seems like maybe your phone's inside, you're outside. I don't know. You're far from your device there.
No, I've got an ear pod in. Can you not hear me very well?
I think your ear pod is not the active microphone. You sound far away.
I see. I apologize. Hold on just a moment. I'll just pick up the phone, Rick. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that sounds much better.
Oh, okay, awesome. Well,
all right. So William in Tennessee, a liberal calling in to talk about voting. What's on your mind, liberal? Or William? What's on your mind, William?
Well, like I said, more liberalism and humanism. I think I don't subscribe to necessarily either party. However, the previous two callers, both Blake and Jim, seem to be sort of privileged and high on their own supply, but on different ends of the spectrum. I listened to Blake, and just he considers his vote throwaway, and then there's Jim, who he feels like his opinions are just as good as facts. Which, those two polar opposites, I just don't know how they meet in the middle in order to both feel like as if they have skin in the game, so to speak, politically.
Yeah.
So that being said, I was wondering what you guys thought about, how to improve voter turnout, or how to get more, electoral engagement from the general populace. I understand, that in many other countries, you're just sort of registered when you get, your identification or your driver's license or whatnot. And so then you have some sort of engagement in some way with the government. But I feel that here in America, the only time you really engage with the government is either sort of to get married at the courthouse or to deal with the DMV or something like that. So it seems very esoteric to most people. It doesn't feel like they directly feel government in their lives. And so they feel like politics is just this nebulous out there thing. So I'm not sure how to maybe improve that in any way. It just seems kind of hopeless in a way.
Lead by example. And by that, I mean, if you volunteer for a campaign to knock on doors, that gives you access to a large number of people, or just, campaigning by phone banking as well, like cold calling people. Because it's like, the government itself doesn't really do outreach, So it's like, if you're asking like how to get more people involved, what you're asking is like, how do we do more outreach? And so in my opinion, aside from just like getting to know people in your community and talking about it with them, like, go to your local farmer's market and, start having conversations and building relationships with people. But aside from that, yeah, I would say volunteer for a local politician's campaign. Progressive Victory does a lot of work with connecting people who feel passionate with campaigns in their area that need help. Sometimes it doesn't even have to be for a candidate. You can also campaign, like the Democratic Party in your area might be trying to support, some legislation or some other thing that is like, let's raise awareness so that people can vote, or so that people can pressure their politicians. Like, it's all about spreading awareness and doing outreach. So yeah, that would be my recommendation.
And then on the left are the people who are running. Don't pivot right. Like, be loud about that.
True.
William, I think right now,
run for office too. Run for something local and small. Do it.
Between now and 2028, we need to make sure that anybody who doesn't say Medicare for all gets popcorn, their car filled with popcorn, just full to the brim. Make it
real extra buttery popcorn.
If Medicare for all is the way the left can take over, and they are too afraid to do so. Literally, everybody wants it, even the people who think they don't. It is a no-brainer of a system. We need to do it, and the popular outreach and number of people who would go and vote for it, who have never voted before, would be massive. Do actual leftist messaging,
which is a big deal for me as a disabled person. But I have a hard time when I feel like their opinions are just as good as your facts. There's Earth 1.0 and Earth 2.0.
Yeah, that's what happened with that last guy.
It's very difficult. Yeah, for sure. And it's very difficult to sort of counter those narratives when it is a lot down here in Tennessee is obviously steeped in religion. So there's this magical thinking already. And so that there's this almost romanticization or religiosity around Republicans. I mean, you see the memes of, Trump with angels and Trump, praying over fallen soldiers' bodies and things like that. So the mythos just, I mean, it's almost like, the next minute or the next second that sort of erupts into the right-wing sphere. And then again, it's really hard to punch through that, I feel, because again, their opinions are just as good as your facts, and that's painful.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you saw it with that last guy who also then thinks he has think about Jim, who said so confidently so many things, while also saying to us that we should basically treat anything we didn't see with our own eyes as not a fact. And so it's just dumb. It's one of these things where it's like, it's weaponized confirmation bias. It's almost, I know I'm doing confirmation bias and I don't mean to ever stop. And so, yeah, it's just, it's intentional confirmation bias, and it's bleak as fuck. So the advice is small on the lower level, small level community organizing, get out the vote initiatives, all that kind of shit. Shaming silly people who call in with all of that privilege to say he's not going to vote for the candidate that is the lesser of two evils. Not using, like that first caller, the dumb phrase voter shaming. God, right. I think that's so fucking dumb. The way they're like, oh, because if we say fat shaming, body shaming, those are bad things. So if I just add shaming, it's bad. And it's literally like, bro, so you wouldn't vote shame a fucking like Nazi, like a person who voted for actual Hitler? Would you vote shame them? All right, so then if so, let's agree that sometimes it's okay. Now let's find out where the line is. And the line is it's always okay to shame somebody for a choice they're making, for an ideology they have. And you might be wrong to do so, but saying shaming is off the table. You might be wrong because you're in the wrong, but saying shaming is off the table is fucking stupid. Also, you can't control what makes a person feel shame. You can intentionally shame somebody, but literally me saying to no specific person, the only right thing to do was vote for Kamala Harris in 2024 is technically vote shaming anybody who doesn't agree with that shit. So these are useless terms that I just felt like going off on a side about.
Well, and I was gonna say, I mean, Blake sounded like he had a lot of just sort of smug hubris, which the right friggin' hates. And then there was Jim, who also had, sort of a, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and that sort of thing. All of this, nonsense.
Jim's
that we hear
also
in this
miserable,
kind of
for the record.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure.
Jim doesn't have any love in his life. There aren't people. I think he said his family's dead. He doesn't have a wife or kids. He's a 63-year-old conservative living alone with a cat, as I recall, or a dog. He's miserable. And so he doesn't like the idea of other people who are happier than him being economically enabled, because he already, he might have a ton of money, but that's all he has.
Right. I was going to say, I feel like too, part of it is you said the shame, but I also feel it's almost like the abuse cycle of Christianity is baked into the cake, Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, I appreciate you both in terms of your views and opinions and getting this out here. So thank you both so much. Have a good night.
Bye. Bradley, and real quick, actually, Bradley, there is still time. If you want to call in from your phone, 336-543-2101, 336-543-2101. There is still time. We would love to talk to MAGA, Christians, Muslims, anybody who has a belief that we disagree with and isn't going to do a very below average fake Indian accent. I mean, at least get good at it, guys. If you're gonna go with a caricature, pull up. Anyway, all right. Bradley in Texas, pronouns he, him. Hey, Bradley, how old are you?
How's it going? I am 18, turned 18 last September.
Cool. All right, Bradley, what are you calling it about?
Okay, so I'm just here to talk economic issues, specifically because I heard you mention earlier economic collectivism.
Mm-hmm. And then very funnily, anti-socialist earlier started using the word collective. Did you notice that? That he was like, and then we have to do collective actions. Collective? You mean you depending on other people? I thought that was gay. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, no, I did not catch that because I was trying to get in the call with y'all guys. But so I'm just going to go ahead and let you know I am not affiliated with either side. I view the last 5 presidents of America being absolutely terrible. So I am more here to specifically talk about capitalism versus socialism. So do you subscribe to
which side are you on?
More so pure socialism? Which side am I on?
Yeah.
We will get to that.
No. That's not how the show works.
No, that's not how this works. Okay.
What's the name of this channel?
What's the name of the channel?
Yeah, that you're calling right now.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, Bradley, you don't even know what you're calling into.
I see debates available, so I like to talk to people because I view
so
the
just pop on it. All right. Well, it's called Jimmy Snow on the line. So if somebody either named Jimmy Snow or from the line, which would describe everybody here, asks you a question, generally it's a will. Bradley, just put very simply, you're not hosting the show, so you don't decide when we get to places. So, it's your first time here. You don't even know what channel you're on. That's fine enough. So, Bradley, which side of that spectrum would you say you're on? Are you capitalist or are you socialist?
So I view myself as being somewhere like tight in the middle. So when I think about things, I subscribe more to the Nordic model, where we have like a free capitalist economy where businesses and people can grow their individual wealth. But we also have, say, high tax rates on like wealthy individuals, corporations that fund social net falls and allow people to actually be able to not fall into massive poverty.
And do you
Isn't
think
that called
what
social
you're
democracy?
Do you think? Yeah, right. You're a sock dumb. Do you think that in our current system we could achieve that through mere reforms, or would it take massive changes that would require the consent of currently a massive billionaire millionaire class? Because realistically, if they don't want it, they'll be able to fund political lobbying to make it never happen. Like, do you think we could actually achieve the Nordic model in America without overthrowing fundamentally what currently makes people rich?
So it would. So the understanding of like what is possible, anything is necessarily possible. We have to understand what is probable. So while it is not necessarily that the massive
Bradley,
Bradley.
Let's reset here. I don't need lectures from what is important. Blah, 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 blah. Just start answering the questions. Let's not dude, the way I feel like I'm talking to a Phil bro already. Right? So Bradley, you don't know what a Phil bro is?
Yes.
Oh, you're going to love them.
No, I do not.
Jesus Christ. It's literally your future, Bradley. So when you're asked a question, it doesn't need to come with a lecture. You can say, like, I would say it's possible, but not probable. Blah, 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 blah. I just don't have the patience for it today, Bradley. And I'm sorry, man. Like, some of it's ageism. You're an 18-year-old trying to tell me that I don't understand because you don't watch the shows prior. The difference between that, I need the clarification of probable versus possible. So Bradley, let's engage colloquialisms here. When I say possible, obviously I mean within a good enough margin of reasonable that without overthrowing the current economic system, we'd be able to get to the Nordic model.
I believe it is possible. It just requires a good portion of American backing, because the difference between the 1% and the 99% is that they are heavily outnumbered. So it just requires the people of America
collective
to
action,
not be divided like we currently see.
Right. It would require collectivism. And my point was that the way we currently have things going with funding, with lobbying, post Citizens United is, one, I don't think the Nordic model does go far enough, and it tends to also be something that is hard to imagine at scale. But I will work with you, Bradley, on achieving the Nordic model if that's all we have, or that's the candidate that is up. whatever people call it, and they're like, I don't want socialism, I just want the Nordic model. Have it your way. Let's work together on Medicare for all.
Okay.
But in the meantime, I don't think it goes far enough, nor actually do I think the Nordic model is possible to implement post Citizens United, post all of this income inequality, and the fact that you do have a masterful political system in this country that convinces people to vote against their interests by using the fact that we are a diverse nation to bastardize the bad guys and redirect anger toward the people who aren't actually the problem.
So you would say you're in favor of more pure socialism, like the
based on our interaction so far, I don't think I trust
capitalism.
whatever you mean by pure socialism. I'm a democratic socialist.
how
I'm
would
not
you
a
describe it?
communist.
Okay. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So how exactly would you describe it?
In which,
Like, is it like
in
a
which
more
thing?
heavy emphasis
I'm sorry,
on social
Bradley.
programs,
Are you
or-
thinking I'm going to now give you a lecture on the full system of? This is what I mean, Bradley. You're calling in, not knowing where you're calling. There are. If I just answered that question in all the ways I could answer it, we would be here for 3 hours as I give you my best guess of what that socialist society would look like. So you're going to have to be a little bit more specific than what would your idea of socialism look like.
So no, that's what I'm trying to ask. Is like, is your idea of socialism a more heavy emphasis on community? How about this? Is it a heavy emphasis on community health or the individual creation of wealth?
I'm very confused that you believe there's a version of socialism that focuses on the individual accumulation of wealth.
No, I'm trying.
That's sort of an obvious no-brainer. It would be socialist. My version of socialism would be rooted heavily in secular humanism. We would probably still have some level of market socialism, at least in the transition phase. Certainly we would. I currently run my existing company in a model that would change very little were we to actually live in that socialist world. But again, it's a very extremely broad question. So what I need more is for you to tell us what you think should be done, and we'll tell you whether that is compatible with what is a very robust set of options for a socialist society.
Well, I said what I think we should do. I think we should switch as close as possible to the Nordic model. There's going to be some changes for America just because.
And what is your contention with my reason? Do you have contention with my reasoning for why I don't think it is possible? That it is reasonable that whatever we could get to.
The wealthy class is going to stop that?
Yes, the lobbying, the post Citizens United lobbying, the fact that corporations get to be treated and considered as people, and that we live in a diverse nation, which actually does affect, like it is harder to pass something like the Nordic model here because the Nordic model doesn't take into account the amounts of diversity that we have. By the way, not just racial diversity, sexual orientation diversity, as well as class diversity, that we have such diversity that we have a masterful political propaganda machine here that gets people to vote against their own interests by successfully mass miseducating people with the idea that the bad guys aren't the capitalists, aren't the people with the money that are holding on to their cash, that the bad guys are in fact somebody brown, somebody gay, somebody whatever. How would you overcome that?
So the best way to overcome that is to, first off, fundamentally start changing how we go about actually educating the people around us.
Great. And how would you do that?
Because a lot of times when we see Republicans, they just spread constantly. So we need to, I say, and God, no, I don't agree with him. Charlie Kirk at least had a decent idea of talking to people, so we should encourage debate among different groups. That is the first way.
Great. There's more debate than ever amongst different groups. So, and we're not closer to the Nordic model. So, how would you? I'm going to need more specifics.
How do we get there? So,
how do we? Not just how do we get there? How do we compete against trillions of dollars stopping us from getting there?
How do you compete against that? Well, as you said, which I don't disagree with. Collectivism, how we come together as a people and ally ourselves with the people that we know are going to be able to
now
help
you're jumping
us
forward
to
again.
actually be
How
able
do
to
you
fight
promote
against
the coming
illicit business.
together? You were on it for a second. You were talking about how to fight back against their education propaganda with our education. So how do we get there? They have trillions of dollars for their machines that spread it. How do we do it?
Well, we can also look at a layer by layer basis. It starts at the community level where we go community politicians, mayors. Then it moves up into like areas, regions of states, differing areas. State governmentation. Once we start changing the states, then we can start moving into the federal levels of government, because it's not so much that we have to change the federal government in and of itself, it's that we have to make tweaks to it in order to block out the trillions of dollars of interests. I think lobbying should be illegal.
I wish I was 18
I think we
again.
should not have millions and millions of dollars flooding into politicians.
I wish I could be in that, like, God, you know what? I think I've figured it out. And my solution is definitely not the same thing the 18-year-old was saying 20 years ago, and then 20 years before that, and then 20 years before that. And in fact, I really wish I could sit and go, motherfucker, rather don't have to go, motherfucker, you're describing what we've always been doing. And what we're telling you is their machine is better oiled and better funded, and they're the ones making progress. We're making progress in some ways, but not at the systemic level yet. And so it's literally like, you're like, yeah, we have to community organize. We have to get into lower forms of government. We have to, right, dude, as we've been done doing. And what has been happening in those places where we have progress is the U.S. figures out how to sequester them. The U.S. figures out how to like push them off, how to even have a cultural pushing off of, ew, New York, California, those gross places because they're ran more left wing. And at the end of the day, still only get 2 senators. Despite the fact that they have more California has more population than like 10 right-wing states put together. So they have those 10 states, those people have 10 times as much representation. Bradley, you're calling in, and I'm sorry, man. Like, I'm trying not to condescend to your age, and I'm glad for your hopefulness. You do sound like old liberal me, who was like, you know what'll work? Somehow just the system as it is. We're talking about revolutionary shit. Hopefully not at the point of violence, but certainly at the point of people not feeling as safe being a pedophile billionaire anymore. Just to start, where it is literally at the level of you have to jump toward the populist.
Like,
you have to
idea?
You have to work toward the populist ideas, and you have to start directing people at bad guys that are actually obviously demonstrated bad guys and take them down at no cost. And then you use those movements to build into essentially the tangential movements. You can turn a lot of voters who are like Donald Trump needs to be put in prison for raping little kids. You can bring a lot of voters over to Medicare for all, for example, on shit like that.
Okay. So how about this? I don't think we're really going anywhere with the actual, like, how are we going to get this done? So let's move to the, I ask that we can move to the ideas behind the actual, like, causes.
Okay.
Like, not so much the how do we do it, but why do we do it?
Because it's the right thing to do.
Okay. So
we live in a world where poverty is a choice. Why is there still poverty? Mm-hmm. Whichever system removes that poverty is the right system. Even if there are no more elegant, like insanely rich people ever again, but everybody has a minimum standard of living that has dignity, we should do it. Even if there's no more yachts.
Okay, so utilitarianism, what benefits the most ought to be done?
Within specific parameters, sure.
Okay. So I ask, where do we draw the line between where utilitarianism is good and where it becomes bad?
I already said I would use secular foundation. My secular humanist foundation would be the foundation upon which I was drawing and would be the one I would promote for. So it would very simply be that which is consistent with secular humanism and that which isn't.
Okay, so can you describe to me what secular humanism is?
Jesus fucking Christ.
Do you want
You
me?
really don't know what channel you called in.
I'll take
You're
it.
frozen, Lux. Did you know that?
Am
Could
I
you just
frozen?
toggle
Oh,
your
hold on.
video
You
on
know,
and
I'll
off real
toggle it.
quick?
I'll toggle it. I know what to
Little
do.
toggle
I just didn't
action.
notice that it was frozen.
How would you know that as a
Okay.
producer?
Now we're back.
Bradley, what religious philosophy do you
Do you have
subscribe
one?
to?
Yeah.
You Christian?
I don't see how religion ties in, but yes, I am a non-denominational Christian.
Okay, well, so I would like to jump in here. I'll give you a break, Jimmy. I know you've been doing all the legwork on this one. So we
are moving to religion.
So it's relevant because, and you didn't know this because you don't know what secular humanism means, but that is a philosophical framework that is analogous to religion in that, like, we are atheists, like Jimmy and I don't believe in God. Mm-hmm. We have a moral philosophy predicated on the well-being of people. So secular means not pertaining to religion. Humanism is the critical component of how we describe our philosophy on this. Like, our moral philosophy is we prioritize human well-being, right? Like, I am personally not a vegan because I prioritize human well-being, and there are lots of people who can't go meat-free. Like, and it would not be reasonable to expect that of people who are impoverished to make a radical dietary change. So like, I want human beings to be well, to have their needs cared for. And so when we discuss like the basis of our political ideology being rooted in secular humanism, what we're saying is that the underlying values system is one that is dedicated to human well-being.
Okay, so what grants the most human well-being is ultimately the good that should be achieved.
Yeah, it's like essentially like the underpinning goal of most of our policy positions.
Okay. So under that logic, you don't subscribe to like full anything necessarily.
What do you mean?
Not full capitalism, not full socialism, nothing that is going to cause drastic harm, but something that is able to benefit the most people while minimizing harms.
I mean, okay, so something, maximizing output and well-being and minimizing harm for sure, like minimizing suffering as well as harm. I don't really know what it means to be full socialist. I don't see, I mean, frankly, I think like full socialism is you have attained the goal of eliminating or minimizing harm and suffering and maximizing human well-being. Yeah. Because the whole, like, the underpinnings of socialism are like people should have, a good income, right? And people should have health care, and people should have roads, and there should be firefighters, and there should be community help for people who fall on hard times, like who are homeless or who, have ended up, I mean, in a socialist society, people are probably not going to use drugs as much, but I was going to use the example of like rehabilitation of people, right? So we're focusing and directing our resources toward those things and not toward profit. So like, when we're talking about capitalism versus socialism, capitalism as an ideology is the purpose of everything is to make profit. Like, we will cut corners on safety. We will cut corners on quality in order to achieve maximum profit. There are incentives to have as few employees as possible and work them as hard as possible and fire them when they start making too much money and hire someone younger who you can pay less. So yeah, that's kind of like what I view as the difference between socialism and capitalism, is that socialism prioritizes human well-being. So they prioritize safety even if things don't get done as fast, but it doesn't matter if things aren't getting done as fast because there's not a profit motive. Like, it's costing money every day that we build this bridge. But if you take your time and you do it right, then nobody dies on that bridge and nobody gets hurt on the construction job, or ideally,
Yeah. So the reason I'm like going into like pure socialism, late stage capitalism, which I kind of use it to back my middle ground stance of neither being the extreme, because socialism, the socialism as I understand it, based off my studying of the political compass, it's sole form, where it is not influenced at all by like capitalist motives, profit motives, does not treat individuals as individuals, but rather as tools for the overall community health. So while you may live a life and you may not be subjected to a multi-millionaire corporation like we would see in late-stage capitalism, which exploits its workers. You are still under exploitation because you are actively being exploited by the overall community that sees you as a tool and nothing more.
I mean, maybe this is a difference in philosophy, because I believe that we all belong to a community and that we all have a mutual commitment to one another and that we should all try to help each other. So maybe this is me just saying, like, I think that my ideology should be imposed on everybody, because but even in this situation that we have now, there is that expectation. Like, there's an expectation that, like, men do hard jobs for their families, and like that we send young men off to war for our country's interests. Like, there already are components of our current society where your individualism doesn't matter that much. And like, if you're going to a corporation, like, we're held in a hostage situation now. So under the socialist situation, it's like, yeah, we still are going to generally like help people work, like accommodate people to work. Most people are going to choose to work. If people can't work, then we're not going to punish them. But you could choose more freely what you want to do, because you don't have to stay in a shitty job that you hate, because otherwise you'll lose your health care.
Yes, I'm gonna go ahead and say that that's probably just like a difference in understanding, like philosophy and whatnot, because that's how I justify the Nordic model. Because the Nordic model actively works both with the goods of socialism and the goods of capitalism to try to minimize the harms that both cause.
But I want to know, like, what benefit do you see to profit motive, period, to having that be part of your calculations at all? And like, how do you prevent such a system from the inherent flaws?
Profit for corporations. Sorry.
If people in the government, because the thing is that in a situation where anybody has a profit motive, people in the government are subject to that motivation. And that's how we end up in this oligarchy situation. So I'm like, what is the benefit of profit at all when we can see the material harms that including that as a motivation at all has on a society?
Because while there is definitely material harms, I don't deny that. Capitalism in its base stage and in late stage always has harms alongside socialism. Ultimately, we see that profit for companies is what actively
nice little
drives
slide,
innovation.
nice little try to slide in there. I like that. As a socialism, as though they're equitable. That's cute.
So,
what is extreme socialism, Bradley?
Yeah, that's a good question.
What does extreme socialism look like?
Do you want me to answer my first point?
What he basically said earlier is that your individuality doesn't matter, and you are being exploited by the community because everybody is expected to work for the betterment of the community. And that's what makes extreme socialism bad, because you're exploited under capitalism, but you're still exploited under socialism, even though all of your fucking needs are taken care of and you can do any job you want because you're not tied to a job for healthcare.
Yeah.
It's exploitation in a different format.
How? If you have the choice of where you can move easily because you can afford to move and you can have as many children as you want and like do what, like, you can change your job whenever you want. Like, how is it exploitation just because you've been raised with the expectation that your actions impact other people and that you should do good for your community?
I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that Bradley believes that authoritarian, like centralized authoritarian socialism is a thing that isn't in and of itself like self-contradictory.
It's an oxymoron, yes.
So anyway, to answer your question, because at the end of the day, like when we understand like communities, when is a community going to do anything for you when you do not contribute? So you could go off on your own and like have as many kids as you want, go live and do whatever. But then what obligation does the community have to you, which socialism says it does?
I mean, are you saying, okay, so like the thing is that the idea that we want is that if somebody were to choose not to work, for example, they could make that choice. Like maybe they need to take a couple years to figure themselves out. But when we give people unconditional universal basic income, we find that they still choose to work. They just do it less. And like, yeah, if somebody doesn't want to raise their children with everybody else's children, then like, and they want to leave the community. Like, there's nobody saying like you have to stay in the community if you don't want the benefits of being in the community.
Yeah, like, literally. Like, Bradley,
it's fine.
It's as though you're suggesting it would be so arbitrary in an actually equitable society. The motivation to contribute would be the benefits of that community. And then, go ahead.
So here's the thing. We work in a socialist company. That's how we distribute our funds. And it makes me want to work harder. And it makes me want to make smart choices for the company, because it's not just because me make more money. Yes, that's part of it. But I'm thinking about everybody else in this company and how they are going to benefit from it. So like, it's a motivator in and of itself that like your work is going to make things better for other people that you know and care about. That is a strong motivator. It's not like coercion to put you in a society that has that commitment.
And it's funny, Bradley, because right now, like, your foundational issue with some extremist version of socialism that you think would exist is the same foundation that people use to deny supporting Medicare for all. Like, well, if we give it to everybody, aren't we also giving it to the people who will exploit it and use it? And it's literally like, how do you exploit it? If it's everybody gets it and you get the medical care, like, how do you exploit that system? The system accounts for you. You don't have to do fraud. You just say it's you and that you need the what. And so foundationally, Bradley, do you support Medicare for all? I guess I didn't even ask.
I think free healthcare should definitely be an option. I don't necessarily see that why people shouldn't be allowed to pay for other healthcare if they want to. Like, if
you
they
can't
choose
stop
to pay for that, that's their
if you
own
have
decision.
if you have money that you're allowed to
be a fundamental right.
If you have money that you're allowed to spend on other things, you can't stop people from it. But the reason why you don't have a robust private healthcare system on top, you have a true Medicare for all system, is so the profit motive people can't, with time, as you see them trying to do in certain systems, making the national systems worse. You see elements of this happening in the UK and others, where they start building a more robust private system that actually starts taking resources from the public system.
Oh, and they buy off the politicians who then underfund the NHS.
Right. It's literally, if you leave the profit motive intact, the actual exploiters are the people who are going to figure it out. So you're like sitting here acting like there's an equality between capitalist exploitation and what you think is community exploitation of, hey, you're benefiting from the society, you need to find a way to contribute to it. Like, that's it to me, it's incredible to me that you do these equivocations. But again, to be 18 again and think that it's so clear cut and dry. Bradley, in your system, would there still be a stock market the way that it currently operates?
So would there still be companies buying people and other companies buying shares of companies?
Yes, in a way that makes it so that a company's success is not built upon whether they are profitable, but in fact whether or not they are more profitable this quarter versus last quarter. Do you understand why that's a problem? Do you need me to?
Explain it to me, because I don't necessarily see an issue currently. Please educate me. Please.
Sure. Imagine I have a company that makes $1 million a year in profit. Mm-hmm. That sounds like a successful company. Everybody's paid well. Everybody's taken care of. Now we start giving out shares of this company, which means for you to make money, the value of the company has to go up. So we're selling shares, and I have to make sure the shareholders are made happy. So even if otherwise, let's say it's a company with 5 people in it and there's $1 million of profit after paying everybody, you would think, well, that's going to get distributed to the owners and shit, but the owners are shareholders and their value and their investment only goes up if that goes up. So you, as the owner of the company, have to figure out how to make $1 million of profit, become at least, I can't remember what the margins they usually operate on, but if you are a CEO and you're not increasing profitability by some percentage, you're considered a failure of a CEO. So let's just say this year I made $1 million. Next year, if I don't make $1.5 million, even if we make $1 million beyond our expenses, we're a failure of a company. So now I have 2 ways that the 2 fastest ways that I can make $1.5 million isn't finding a new product, isn't figuring out a way to innovate, isn't finding out a way to expand. I've figured out I can just knock 10% off of all of the wages of everybody who works here. I figured out that the product that we're selling, I can make the product shittier by using cheaper parts or by shrinking the amount of stuff that we're actually delivering to people. Like a box of cereal, I can make it. And so I, profit motivated by the stock market to not just make profits, but make bigger profits than before, even by a marginal amount, am motivated to exploit my workers and either pay them less or just not offering raises, which in a country with inflation means you are getting a pay decrease, or somehow get the consumers to pay more, which can either be raising the prices, which exploits them, or keeping the prices the same, but delivering them less and making my costs lower. That's the current problem. And that is the current problem that doesn't just exist for like General Mills and how they sell cereal and why cereal boxes look roughly the same size, but they're actually less and there's less stuff in them. It's not just a problem for them. That's what our Medicare industry, which accounts for 17% of our GDP, is currently going through too. Why we have AI bots that are the first line of evaluating whether or not to reject a claim or not. That's why there's a dead United Healthcare CEO, because he was the guy who like streamlined and made that a thing, made that an acceptable thing, and raised claim denials up by a ton because people, once they get the first denial, are much less likely to appeal. These are the issues because these are the decisions they're making, motivated by it's not enough that I just make $1 billion this year in profit. It has to be more than it was in last year's to make the stock price to go up. Otherwise, those shares are not a good investment.
Okay. So, profit driven. Okay. So, just correct me if I'm wrong, but the understanding of everything you're saying is that it's all rooted in greed, correct?
Yes.
Like if we bring it to the fundamental human.
The reason why we aren't truly innovating is because, yes, it absolutely is greed. Even the innovations we do look at, like GLP-1s, are probably going to be the most important drug ever invented until we get a cure for cancer. And the person who actually invented them is not filthy rich, but there are multiple people who are now billionaires because of it, because they had the money to buy patents and research and now have guarded that behind their patent and research, which is why if you want a GLP-1 today, you're likely going to pay $1,000 for a month's worth, despite the fact that it cost them $10 to manufacture, less than $10 to manufacture a month's worth, even now post them recovering their investments.
Okay, so fundamental question.
Mm-hmm.
How does y'all's form of socialism solve for the human greed factor?
Punishing it.
Literally. Like, what do you mean? How does it solve for it?
With the laws that we have.
Massive collectivism. Literally, you just don't get to do that shit. But in my economic system, maximum wage.
We can we can just do taxes. Like just have a tax system where after like $500 million, the tax rate is now 100%. So literally every bit you make above $500 million, and that's too fucking much money anyway.
Yeah, I always say the number is, I don't know where the exact number is. I know I can always defend 100 million or further. No one needs $100 million of personal wealth,
personal income,
and you aren't allowed to like Elon Musk it, where it's like, well, it's it's locked up in a bunch of things because I'm the CEO of so many companies. The concept of being a CEO like that, where you are made rich off of other people making your rockets, other people making your cars, would already have gone away. That wealth would have already been distributed to the workers and to the communities.
Yeah. It's like
literally
either
taxes, my guy.
Yeah. Put your own income at $100 million and that way all the money that you are not profiting and not keeping is going back into the company, presumably, or you're spending it on something within the company. Or if you want to pay yourself $500 million and have all of that go to taxes, either way, it's going back into the community. It's either going into your workers or it's going to be spread out through taxes.
Okay, so we're punishing greed. So the community is collectively punishing the greed of the individual if they decide to exploit the people, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, and if they decide to hoard security for themselves, which is what they've been doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, so greed. Does that not require people following and dedicating themselves to the community?
Yes.
I mean, you're literally like, you can fuck the community over. There are just going to be consequences.
Yes. Do you think a socialist society won't have laws?
Like,
won't have regulation and limitation? Like, what is your perception?
I'm just wondering if you don't follow the standards and abide by the rules of the community here, you will be punished.
If you harm people, you will be punished. Hoarding wealth is harming people. You will be punished. We're establishing a different kind of social norm than what we have right now, where like everyday people get punished financially for dumb shit like parking in the wrong place. You know what I mean? Like,
and if you're positioning your company in our community and you don't follow the laws, you're definitely going to be punished for violating those community laws.
And all of these benefits, all the extra wealth, all the stuff that people will be forbidden from hoarding, forbidden from putting to their own self-interest, is going back either into the company or the community, which the company is used to directly benefit said community. So again, back into the community.
Yeah.
I like how we've gotten this far from you ever answering the question about the stock market.
That's true.
It's just been a wild ride you've been taking off to the side when your question was and then you needed to explain to you whether or not your system of what you are calling the Nordic model, whether or not Bradley's Nordic model would still include the stock market, which motivates companies to reduce wages and exploit consumers to raise profits, not just to be profitable, but to be more profitable than the season prior.
I would have a regulated stock market.
And what regulations would prevent what I just described?
Well, understanding that by your own logic, we wouldn't be able to go through everything because we'd be here for multiple hours. It would be fundamental regulations.
Yeah, just give me one.
Actual, just one. So one way we could stop the mass exploitation of companies is by actually regulating how they are able to treat their workers, how much they are able to do.
No. About the stock market. Literally, we're still on the stock market. One regulation that would prevent the stock market. You're saying you would regulate stock trading. And so basically what it implies when I hear that is I would not allow them to try and increase their price, their value by laying off workers or by raising prices or by lowering the quality. But you can't do any of those things in a capitalist society. You can't tell them what materials they're going to make. You can't tell them what they're going to pay beyond a minimum wage. So what regulation would you use to regulate the stock market? Because also if you put those regulations in place, nobody would buy stocks anymore and you would crash the entire economy as it currently is. So what regulations would you put in place that would keep the stock market intact that you think should be intact, but would regulate to prevent the issues that were just raised with you?
So we could, let's think, one thing. You could regulate how many actual stocks a company has or how much they could actually sell them off for. So if the idea is we are trying to constantly put back into the shareholders, so we're cutting off corners, try to maximize profit anyway to give back to the shareholder, instantly limiting the number of shareholders already capping the value of them, the value of their shared stocks, or how many could invest into a singular company, caps how far that company is willing to go into that.
So, unfortunately, that is the wrong answer, because without laws, that already happens. You already cap sharing, you already cap stocks, because if you don't, your chances of a hostile takeover dramatically go up. Someone can just buy and own your company. But also, once again, you're saying selling shares, limiting shares. Let's say you do limit it. Now you can only give 10% of your company up via shares. You still have to deliver value. You still, as a company in our current system, that's the way you inject capital to be able to do more. So now, as a company, I have less fundraising possibility because you've just limited it further than the market already naturally limits itself. So I have less fundraising capability, but amongst the people who do buy, you think that having higher demand stocks wouldn't put a higher expectation. Hey, I can only buy this much. I don't have a chance to have the level of power if I want to buy even more. So my expectations are low. I'm buying less stocks that I expect a lower return of investment on, Bradley? Explain this to me.
Well, see, I think you're looking for a total and complete solution, but as I've already stated, I am not.
No, I'm
looking
telling
for
you that your
complete either
solution.
way.
I'm saying that the solution you just gave doesn't work. I'm not saying a total and complete solution. I'm saying the first regulation you gave in a even Nordic model capitalist system that maintains a stock market can't work.
Well, yes, one regulation on any system, if we only look at one idea of regulation, is not going to do anything.
No. I'm saying you run a water. I'm saying you run the amount. When I'm saying the regulation doesn't work, I'm not saying like, well, it makes it hard. I'm saying it's as though you have told a company that makes water fountains they're not allowed to use metal anymore. No water fountain company can work under that model. Metal is very important to water fountains. That is the level to which it's not just complicated. It is contradictory. It couldn't work. And the current system that we are in, even making that level of tweaks and regulations, you would just crash the stock market. We'd be in a depression.
So why is it supposed to only take one law to solve an entire issue when policymakers regularly will use multiple
Again,
laws?
I'm not saying there aren't other laws. I'm saying the one you came up with is broken. Doesn't work.
I think one of the things that we're trying to drive toward is illustrating situations where the profit motive is a fundamental problem that can't be regulated away. Like my example that I would use for like why shareholding is bad and like why the stock market is bad in this way, because that requirement, like in order for your company to continue being successful and having value, you have to increase your profit every quarter. And so if you have like, let's say fucking defunct falling apart electrical lines because they've been up there for a long time and they need to be updated, but the electrical company is a for-profit company that has to give value to its shareholders and increase profit every quarter, is not going to be incentivized to update those electrical lines before they start causing thousands of dollars in damage from wildfires. Like the fundamental problem with having a profit motive period is that there's always going to be tension between what the corporations want to do and us desperately trying to keep them at bay. And if there is a profit motive, again, the politicians are going to be subject to influence. So like we don't have a strong system of regulation right now because of the profit motive. So like I don't understand the value, and I tried to get at this earlier. What is the value in keeping profit motive if we have to constantly be guarding against it because it's trying to take over the world?
Yeah.
So with that, I ask a counter question. What is the motive behind a pure non-profit, like complete all profit is like all profit?
Already answered the question. Already answered the question. Human well-being.
Hang on, but Bradley,
human
we'll
well-being.
answer the question.
So,
wait, Bradley. We'll answer the question even more after you answer Lux's question.
Yeah, please.
So what is like the motive behind continued
What is the benefit behind your system maintaining a profit motive? How is that good for society? A profit
For the
motive?
record, I didn't even care if you actually ended up answering. I was just actually proving that the whole time you weren't listening to the question. You were listening for the setup for what you were going to say next. Because you've been doing that a lot, Bradley. This has been it's very much a like, instead of that question, what if I just try and make it seem simpler? On my end, I've said fewer things and I put them on the defensive more often. Therefore, a person might internalize the more defensive person might seem more wrong. And
that's
Bradley, you so far don't really know how the stock market works, didn't know what secular humanism is, which is at this point crazy to me in this world that even a Christian, a non-denominational Christian too, you guys, you often are lining up with them. You fundamentally, like at this point, I'm worried I should have asked you back then to ask what the Nordic model is, because I'm not convinced anymore you know what it is.
So why is it a point of contention that I did not know a single form of political philosophy?
No. My problem is that, first of all, secular humanism isn't a political philosophy, but my problem isn't that you didn't know a single form. It's that you keep avoiding answering questions and trying to put us on the defensive of like, it's this silly thing where as you avoid questions, it's creating this presentation of like, hey, look, they're defensive, they're on the ropes, they're answering questions, and they keep acknowledging like it's complicated, it's tough, and they keep going with these long-winded answers. And on your end, you've offered nothing, and you've answered no questions, and yet you're presenting here very confidently as though you know what a lot of these things are, and you don't know their foundational pieces. So I think my advice is going to be to you, Bradley. One, I hope you call again, because I want you to talk to us about, but because this isn't the topic today, I'm not going to ask you to shift to it now, and also because this call's gone on too long. I hope you call again to explain to me why God exists. And then as you besides that, you work on an ongoing education of what socialism actually is, what extreme socialism actually is, what whether or not a centralized authoritarian socialism is in fact even socialism. I hope, Bradley, you're not one of the silly people who say Nazis were socialists because it's in their name. You're not that guy, right?
No, they had a few socialist like policies specifically for Aryans, but they were not fully socialist. I don't argue that.
So but what you just said was the contradiction. They had a few socialist policies for Aryans. Therefore, they had no socialist policies. There's no such thing as a socialist policy for Aryan. The for Aryan part makes it not socialist. Right? Like you get that, I hope.
So
or I hope you start to grasp it.
So it is only socialism if it like completely envelops every single person within a border.
Pretty much. I mean, close enough. I mean, you're very clearly trying to use like overkill representation, but it's only socialism if it meets the social good. I mean, the answers are there. And here's where you are, Bradley. You are trying to support a type of moneyism over communityism, capital goodism over social goodism, and socialism can't be socialism if it is directed to a single ethnic group's benefit at the cost and exploitation and genocide of others. So there's your like more expanded view. But Bradley, it's being presented as a debate. Here's what I should have said earlier. I was explaining it poorly, was long-winded. This call is being presented as a debate and you're engaging like it's a debate. But you don't know the foundations of this shit. And so at a certain point, us continuing to answer your questions while not getting answers to ours is seeding an equality between our positions. And I'm sorry, there isn't one. You are not prepared for this conversation, and us pretending like you are a positional. I don't know how smart you are. I don't know what your potential is. So you might be intellectually equal to us, but you aren't prepared equally to us. Your position isn't equal, and the continued presentation of this the continued presentation of equality between our positions is going to give me a fucking ulcer. So Bradley, I would suggest you start foundationally learning not just your own side, but your opposition side, and call in so you don't have to ask so many basic questions. Because it's giving me the same vibe as when a creationist calls in and I have to explain to them what like speciation is. You're against evolution, but you don't know speciation? It's giving me that vibe. You know what speciation is? Well, you're not necessarily a creationist. You're not a creationist, are you? You don't believe the earth is less than 10,000 years old?
No. While I'm a Christian, I do understand that there's evidence to suggest that the world is millions of years old. And I factor that into my religious belief.
Billions. And it's not to suggest. It's a demonstrated fact. The world is billions of years old. And you do understand.
Yeah,
I hope you accept evolution as how Homo sapiens and all other species in their current form have arrived on the planet.
So evolution is a weird topic for me. I understand the logical process behind it. And I understand like how over time species will adapt in order to actually be able to live where they are and survive.
Yeah.
And I honestly never understand why people suggest that the theory of evolution completely outrules the possibility of a god.
There are people who don't suggest it. It's just that the God hypothesis, not theory. It's never been as good as a theory. The God hypothesis tried to outrule the possibility of evolution. The Christian God hypothesis gave a creation account that is counter to evolution. So, but there are plenty of Christians who accept the theory and the fact, for the record. I hope you know what the word theory means.
Yeah. Evolution doesn't mean there's no God. It just means that God didn't spontaneously create all the creatures.
Yeah. Homo sapiens arised by a natural process that wasn't guided by a mind. It was guided by natural selection.
Well, I view it as separate as God just flicked us off in the path of like, okay, you're going to go through these processes and eventually become this.
Sure, you're adding an unnecessary thing that it's a totally unfalsifiable claim that you believe with faith. You don't have any factual basis upon, but you're like, well, there's no reason it couldn't be that. There's not, I mean, of course, when magic is an option, you can look at it however you want. So I hope you call in and we discuss more of these differences, because I'd be much more interested in your religious foundation will at least have probably a decade or so, even at 18, of consideration. And I'll be much more interested in those foundations where right now your deficit is purely in not how smart you are, just what your actual level of education on the topic is.
Yeah. Which is a fixable problem.
Right. I'll tell you this, Bradley, and I don't expect this of all callers. I hope you take this as a compliment, because I'm detecting somebody who is smart enough to do the work. Okay?
Oh, well,
I'm detecting somebody who's smart enough to be able to.
In high school, and I'm planning on attending college. Yes.
Yeah, cool. And I think you have the potential to be a good debater one day, especially if you get past the God nonsense. I think that you'll know whether or not you're ready to engage in a debate if you can confidently say, I could pretend to be one of my opponents and they wouldn't know I was one. Bradley, I could blend into every group. As long as there's a group of people who didn't already know me as Jimmy Snow from The Line or whatever, I could pretend to be any of these people and they wouldn't know. If anything, they'd start thinking I should be their leader, because I'd often articulate their positions much better than they do. And that is a good test of whether or not you should be calling in to debate somebody. Do I feel confident that if I was talking to Jimmy and Lux about this topic, I could fake it? I don't put the standard on other people. I'm putting it on you because you're smart enough to meet it when you're calling into debate. Otherwise, when you call in, do know I'm not gonna go so easy on you. There was too much presentation of equality on this call for my likings.
No, so that's the thing is that so I do debate. I do high school debate. It's a 1v1 format.
It's a different thing
where we talk.
Yes. And just you learn about tact also. There are times where they're like, and if you're losing, just start saying things in the right way. It doesn't matter as much if they're true.
Oh no, I fundamentally don't agree with that. We don't normally talk about stuff like this, economic values. We do moral stuff. So, but anyway, thanks for having me on.
Wait, you do modal stuff? You told me you don't know what a Philbro is. Did you lie to me right off the bat?
Moral stuff, moral questions.
Oh, moral. I thought he said modal stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, even moral stuff, I'm surprised you haven't fallen into. Maybe you just never heard them called Philbros.
Yeah, philosophy bros.
No, more so like the current topic right now in UIL Texas debate is developing countries ought to prioritize globalization over protectionism. So we look at fundamentally how has globalization impacted economies, sure, but it is also an understanding of the moral implications behind them. I run something called Necropolitics by Mbembe.
Bradley, I'm going to be honest. I've been out of college and school for 20 years now. I don't care. This is boring the fuck out of me. But I appreciate you, Bradley. Go forth. And I had one more thought I was going to share with you, but I kind of lost it while I was snoozing about if you're going to do moral topics, fuck, dude. Go read the Secular Humanist Manifesto. Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. You gotta, the fact that you're about to read about a thing where it's like, holy shit, is this the moral system that literally all throughout history, every moral system we've adopted has been trying to live up to? Because if you literally just take this simple framework and apply it to every change that we as a society consider morally better, even in Christian societies like throwing off slavery, the oppression of women and shit, you're going to notice like, fuck, secular humanism wouldn't have had this problem in the fucking first place.
So, thank you for letting me talk. Thank you for letting me come on.
Word.
Just for next time. So the thing is, I don't want like inequality between us, because inequality between us means I don't learn.
That's why I said, oh, you don't want inequality, or you don't what? Are you saying inequality or equality?
Correct me if how you're describing equality, but like equality in the sense of where you're trying to stay level with my understanding.
No, I was
correct?
saying we were engaging your debate as though you were on, like, not to sound like a dick, on our level, when you kept showing in a lot of ways you weren't. And I think you were using a debate tactic of asking questions when it's your time to answer to essentially set up where it looks like your opponent is often on the ropes. Probably learned in this debate class, maybe not by these words. It makes it look like your opponent is on the ropes. So if people are just like, ooh, but who presented more confidently and who more often got on the defensive, it makes you look better. And I'm saying that wouldn't happen again. Like, the next time we talk, either needs to be on a topic that you are confident on, that you can actually defend, so as when you ask a question, you will answer it, and then we will do an equal amount of answering, or we'll just kind of like, I'm just not interested in it otherwise. That's the type of equality I mean.
But anyway, yeah, no. I don't mind like y'all using all like the big terms, stuff like human secularism, because I've never heard of that, or secular humanism.
Secular humanism, yeah.
Secular
Write
humanism,
it down,
because I don't know that.
You'll
That's
love
the
it.
reason I engage in this stuff, because I can learn.
Tight. All right. Well, thank you, Bradley.
Yep. Yeah. Good night.
Bye. Now, in chat, how many minutes too long did that call go? It was 57 minutes long. How many minutes too many was it? All right. We're going to call the call-in portion there. Well, we've had a great day. We've staved off a Groiper attack together. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood where girls are not allowed to have an opinion and trans people die. That's the Groiper neighborhood. I don't know. Oh, I thought your ears were in that whole time. I guess you don't. That
No, I don't have
sense.
wireless ones.
I was doing a Groiper, beautiful day in the neighborhood.
I see.
Yeah.
You know what time it is now?
Super chat time?
It's time for people to get those early birthday super chats in, because my birthday next week.
Yo, we milking.
It's my birthday month, bitch.
There can only be one. Fiona says, there's nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We control the horizontal. We control the vertical. Meg says, spent last night at a protest against a new massive ice center in Utah. They tried to pull a protester inside illegally while also reaching for their gun. Beyond over, cowards and fascist fucks. Yeah, I heard Governor Cottonmouth talking about it today. That was his name's Governor Cox. I just like emasculating,
kind of connected that
straight people with
connected that
queerness. If you've got it up, you can exchange.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't show me all of them, so if I miss one, just let me know. Zeno with the $20 donation, thank you, said, yuck, my tax dollars are helping Jim. If we give it to the line, can we avoid this? Is this enough for a boot?
Sorry, Zeno. Yeah, we're not an NPO, so you can't avoid it with us. But
yeah, it's not tax deductible, unfortunately.
Sorry about that. Not yet. Maybe one day. We'll see. Maybe there'll be a division one day or something.
Yeah.
When I've moved on to other things. When I'm the director of RFR. I'm just kidding. There's no plans for me to be the director of RFR. That would, as a retirement plan goes from the profit side of all this shit, that would be in the running. Getting more involved with RFR or some shit. That'd be probably not my best application, referring to it as getting more involved or some shit, but I'd swear I probably see myself as the head of an organization like RFR in my late stage of this
Take some of those leadership and organizing skills and put them to work.
Yeah. Atheist Mechanic says, as someone who works on semi-trucks, Jim is your typical whiny baby driver. I deal with guys like him on a daily basis. Spineless cowards. Yeah. I don't know why, but I'm also aware that the Groipers who were going crazy, a screenshot of your super chat got put in their little place, Atheist Mechanic, and they got real upset about it for some reason.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Another one from the atheist mechanic who says, Jim, don't speak for the auto industry. You're out of touch with reality. Fucking true. I'm like, working on cars these days requires doing so much more electrical than it used to. So I'm like, good fucking luck with your 30-year out-of-date automotive knowledge.
Don Quixote says spending $5 to piss off Jim. Also, did Jim buy his trucking rig outright? I think no. Ooh, you mean he was relying on others?
Yeah.
Jay Online says, sadly, I didn't get Kat on the line and my super chats didn't magically close the entire 4% gap to BIS. Thanks for humoring my messages, Snowman. Yeah, I saw though. She did. I mean, they keep acting like she got blown out or whatever, but fucking, it seems like the early numbers we're seeing with Kat
Abugazale, yeah.
Yeah. She losing by 4% with millions of dollars of APAC money coming at you. Like, pretty impressive, actually.
That's a pretty tight margin, impressive. Yeah.
And I just think about running more of those things where it's like places where you're going to have a hard time, but you're also using up that lobby's funds.
That's true.
Bruh. Kat, thank you for your service. You can come on. By the way, Kat can come on now, too. She doesn't have to wait till after. I don't think our show would have closed the 4% either, but, you know, maybe one day. We're working towards some things that might...
We want to be influential.
We have some huge things changing. We're going to be adding... On the line, I haven't even told Lux this yet. The line is getting a new show, a new regular show, day of the week show. Okay. This channel is getting 2 new day of the week shows. Okay. It's going to probably be going up to 5 days a week. The line is a podcast is going to be starting to happen live 2 days a week as well. And then we have an entire other on top of that set of new debate shows that will at first be simul-streamed to the relevant channels, but will eventually be on their own channels because they won't be heavily featuring a call-in portion. We won't be debating with callers. We'll be debating with like prearranged people. So like literally massive. I'm literally like writing up a form for all the hosts to hit so that we can do a company meeting here in the coming couple of weeks.
Exciting. I love meetings.
With some info in those questions too. And so I actually do like meetings.
I do actually. Yeah. Everybody's like, this sucks. And I'm like, what, you get to like faff around and not actually do your job for 20 minutes? Like, that sounds great. And our meetings are great too because we're all friends and we shoot the shit and everything.
Yeah. And I get to be the Michael Scott. Michael Scott loved meetings too, you know?
That's fair. That's fair.
Pam could have done better. Tiny Foxbone says, does anyone else think Jim sounds like Chief, the old dog from The Fox and the Hound? I can't remember how he sounds.
Can't remember. Thank you, Elizabeth, for the $20 who says for Lux's birthday.
Liz Chris, for the record.
Liz Chris? Okay, I don't know.
Liz Chris.
Liz Chris.
Say Liz Chris in this.
Liz Chris. Thank you for $20 dono for my birthday because mine's next week as well. Fuck yeah. Aries. Let's go. I don't know. I like horoscopes.
Don't invoke that.
I know. It's just, I'm saying like, ooh, late month March.
I legitimately feel the same way as if like one of our non-ex-Muslim hosts, non-ever Muslim hosts, if like come September, they had been like, hell yeah, Ramadan birthday. We've been like, shut the fuck up. Quit cosplaying idiocy. Get the fuck out of here.
The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you.
Disgusting. That's okay. You only financially supported an exploitive thing. Anyway.
Well, this was a gift, so actually I didn't.
Well, you did because you were the kind of person that seemed receptive to that kind of
Fair
gift.
enough.
Ain't nobody knows. Everyone who knows me knows not to buy me some fucking tarot cards. I'll tell you that much. I would
buy you like a joke tarot deck. I think that would be fun.
And then you would have fucked up.
I know.
You would have still been the asshole.
There's no ethical consumption under... I buy all my groceries at Walmart.
Okay. There's no ethical consumption under capitalism. It doesn't mean we should never consider the dollars we're spending. You going to go buy Bibles too?
Yeah. No.
I steal Book of Mormons. I don't buy them.
That's fair. I do love playing hide the Bible whenever I stay in a hotel.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's one of my favorite things to do when I'm traveling.
I like putting a little QR code business thing with the CES letter in the Marriott Book of Mormons.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
I wonder how many, like they're still doing it. I don't think that's created a single Mormon. The Book of Mormon being in the fucking, it's weird.
You just got to be represented.
Yeah.
5 Quick from Fuzzy Logic says, considering how Jim blew his top over $5 coffees, I wonder how he would feel about the amount of money those dang youngins spend on fursuits. True.
Jim blowing his lid over. Jim's blowing. He's taking loads.
That's too much.
He told us
$5 for a coffee. That's not even what they actually cost.
Legitimately, the way that financially secure people will have a resentment toward poor people trying to just feel a semblance of access to commodities, while it is like absolutely pushed in their face how it is a representation of how successful you are in life.
I also think Jim was just projecting his desire to, prevent himself from getting pleasurable things. Like, just because you wouldn't spend $5 on a delicious coffee milkshake doesn't mean that type of commodity or luxury is bad, or that it shouldn't cost money, or that people shouldn't ever buy it. Like, just because you have a self-flagellation thing going on.
Coffee Mom says, Grandpa was a Teamster. He taught us who you hate. You never know who's in your family tree. You can tell why he had family, but Jim didn't. Yeah, well, Jim did tell me his family had a tree, but I forgot to ask who he hung from it. Next one's yours. That was a dark-ass joke.
It was a dark joke. Okay. Just found out, is this, Allison, thank you for the $5, who says, just found out my health insurance at work will go up $172 monthly thanks to all these new policies. Medicare for all. True.
That sucks. Yeah, my condolences.
Well,
and the removal of subsidies and all that kind of shit. Yeah, mine went up $100 a month this year. Literally, like 100. Like, that's so much. People act like that's not a lot. That's so fucking much. $100 a month, $1,200 a year.
Yeah.
And in 1 year. Like, do I expect $1,000 of increases in 10 years? Kind of. If it stops there. I imagine when I am 46, I'm going to be paying thousands of dollars a month for fucking insurance, because it's hard to believe America will do the right thing. Michael says, so many people lack understanding the way the USA works today. I'm 58, and at least I recognize that younger people have it so much harder than I did at their age. We didn't have credit scores.
Fucking true.
Must be fucking nice.
You know what's crazy is when you pay down all of your credit cards to zero at the same time, your credit gets nerfed pretty hard for like a couple of months. It's really stupid. You got to keep at least $5 on one of those cards, because if you knock them all to zero at the same time, it kicks your score down by like 20 fucking points.
I now think I have 2 exercises undefeated.
Yeah?
Asking a person what they want the live chat to call. If they won't engage that in good faith, the call ends up being not in good faith, like 100% of the time. And now the second one is, caller says socialism's never worked. Ask the caller what kind of country China is.
Yeah.
And I don't even believe China's a socialist country. That's the crazy thing. But it's their claim. They believe no socialist country's ever worked, and they believe that the second most successful superpower in the world is a socialist one. Like, it's
that's
fucking
a sick burn. Honestly.
Hilarious. It's so fucking funny. Anyway, Lars says, Germans, when you call it a bathroom instead of a Der Puffenfarter. I don't know enough German to know whether or not that's true, but that's part of my anti-German bigotry. I don't know if you heard about the call with Tim the other night. Tim called in claiming that we're bigots because we're okay with the fact that 100 years ago, 10% of Americans spoke German, and now it's only less than 1%, and that had to do with like evil laws that went into place because of World War I and World War II, prohibiting people from speaking German, which was overturned as violation of freedom of speech, and that essentially me embracing and accepting that we don't have still 10%. He was like, over 10, we've lost so much. Like, Tim is desperate for white people to be oppressed.
Wow.
Desperate for it.
Fascinating.
Like, that white people are
I'm not
oppressed.
saying I'm okay with the less German. I just don't care. I mean, it was like a bad policy, but whatever.
When he called in and I knew our previous conversations, I was asking him things like, who is more oppressed in America, white men or black men? And he was like, well, it depends on where, blah, blah, blah. And then I did white men and black women, and he still wouldn't. He'd give like a definitive answer. And he's like, I acknowledge in some place, and he just wouldn't answer. And then then the remaining 45 minutes is white people are being super oppressed, guys. White people are super oppressed.
Trust me, bro.
Anyway, now I said der Puppenfarter, so you can't say I'm bigot. I did throw at him. He was like, you're a bigot against them. And I went, I'm going to use y'all's logic. I can't be bigot against Germans because I fuck them.
True.
Fuck Germans. So how could I be bigoted against them?
What a wonderful segue with bathroom, der Puppenfarter, and into liquidy shit.
What
with
up?
a very generous $50 donation. Thank you so much. Happy early birthday, Lux. Hope you have the best day and get all the things you want. Yeah, I'm getting a new chair because I sit like a freak. I sit cross-legged and I'm finally
Ooh,
like
do you want
in enough
my
pain
chair?
from it. Then no, I got one of the special ones with the foot platform for your legs.
Mine's got one.
You have the.
I got this off Amazon and it's amazing.
You have the like lower platform for your legs.
I can lay
to be
back.
cross-legged. No, cross-legged.
Oh, I could. Hang on. It's a little footstool that comes out and then it just extends essentially. I can tuck it back in and now basically my main cushion is just longer. And yeah, now I'm just sitting cross-legged on my...
No. Okay, so that's the problem is that my chair is plenty big enough for me to sit cross-legged, but it's a fucked up hip situation, so there needs to be a lower platform for my legs to go on.
It's slightly lower, but only by a couple inches. It's
okay.
It's like
Tell me more about it after.
I love this chair, and it's I was looking at chairs and God, they're so expensive for the good ones, but this one was like one that on Amazon wasn't terribly expensive, and it's probably my favorite chair I've ever had.
Okay. You'll have to send me a link so I can look at it. But
It's
I
a
did
good
already
chair.
buy
And
a
very
chair.
easy to put together. Very easy to put together. Okay. A very good chair. It's very good. Very easy to put together. I don't know why. Hey, by the way, Liquidy Shid, you don't have to do anything, but I fucking hate your profile photo.
Is it liquidy shit?
It's not. I think it's pudding.
Is it smoothie?
I think it's pudding with a white spoon in it.
Oh, okay.
And I, as Tim has pointed out, hate the whites.
That's true.
I hate the whites. I hate the whites. Just kidding, YouTube moderators. I love the whites.
Mm-hmm.
I am actively fucking the whites right now, guys.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The atheist mechanic with another $10 who said they didn't like my super chat. They can go gag on a bag of Richards. True.
Y'all. They out there trying to dox people and shit. It's the life they have.
Cringe.
It's kids, by the way. It's a bunch of Groiper kids. It always is.
Like they don't have anything else
what the
going
fuck?
On. How dare you?
Out of nowhere.
Thank you for the $10 from Alina Langton, who said, Jim acting like he had to work as hard as we do now. I literally own a car outright, never buy things unless they are on sale, and make my own food, but rent is $1,400 a month, and that is insane. Yeah. Also, someone else in the chat pointed out that he's acting like he had to work so hard, but the people drive for pleasure.
Yeah.
Like the job itself is long hours, but...
I think being a trucker probably sucks, especially
I think it probably sucks.
Especially if you have a community. He doesn't, but it's like a lot of separation from community. You're also not often driving with other people. The people you're seeing are changing a lot and stuff. So even your coworker situation where you might get great relationships at work.
They've got like radio
Sure.
friends.
Are they on the same route? It's kind of like I can get on Discord and talk to a bunch of strangers, or I can, I don't know. As far as social situations go,
it's not ideal.
You just sat all day. That's already not great for you.
Yeah. I'm excited for the automation of trucking because I think that we should liberate workers.
Right. It would be great in a socialist society. In a capitalist society, it's dog shit.
Yeah, it's going to be terrible.
Really bad.
Homeless population is going to skyrocket.
It could also launch us into a depression. If that happens too quickly and we don't figure out where to put those workers, it's a that's enough to destroy the economy. If it just all of a sudden, oh my God, I almost did it. If suddenly that happened, I almost, Anyway, let's see. Lena said, Gina acting like he had to work as hard as we do now. I literally own a car outright, never buy things unless they're on. Oh, okay. Don Quixote says, I believe it's Senator Cobson mouth, and he's from Louisiana. Seriously, Senator Kennedy reading porn on the committee floor is disturbing. I was referring to Governor Cox, but yeah. I want your cock in my mouth. I want to feel you up inside. Do you remember? Do you know what he's referring to?
No.
Senator Kennedy once was reading one of these banned books, these books that should be banned from kids. that he alleged was in a school, and so you have him in his stupid Southern drawl accent.
Oh
He's
wow!
very
it's like
dumb
the
man.
movie or the book Gender Queer. Was that what it was? Yeah.
I want to feel your penis in my mouth going in and out, and your hot cum pouring down my throat. Now nobody's gonna clip that irresponsibly, right?
Is that what he said?
No.
Okay. That's pretty good. Still though, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Thank you, Puriform, for the Canadian $10, who says, LOL, the line should have call-in stickers for Bibles when people travel. We can help get the word out. And when is Forrest doing LineCon live? LOL. I think never.
You'd have to ask him, man. You'd have to ask him. No, I'm gonna get him on one. Especially he's been asking for certain things to happen. I'm like, bro, with what money? You want these things to happen. Our fundraising scheme is LineCon. And nobody's supporting it. Like you guys are certain members of the audience are, but like I can't even get a host to fucking make a post that they're going to be on it, let alone him who's not even showing up on it. So that'll be part of our kind of thing when we have our chat of like, hey guys, look, we're trying to expand. We're trying to also bring in more diverse thing. And if that's not your thing, like you can still come on as a guest from time to time, but like we're kind of now interested in Forrest is a very enthusiastic participant in that he does like 7 to 8 shows a month. So this is for the record. Forrest, there's no threat of us being like, Forrest, we feel like you don't even want to be here. So why are you? Yeah. But I think we'll probably be having conversations of like, do you want to be here? And like, do you actually want to be here in the way it entails? Is just your perception of being here is just show up the day the show happens and then go and nothing else? Or are you wanting to be an active participant?
Yeah, are you trying to help us grow and everything? Yeah.
Yeah, and if people don't, and we'll just be like, cool, man, we'll still have you back as a guest from time to time and stuff, but maybe it's time to hit the old dusty trail. Because there's new talent that I want to bring on and try, and there are new people coming into our community who are awesome.
Yeah.
That I want to.
Look forward to lots of Cause I Wannas, the more guests we have on.
Yeah, maybe not Cause I Wannas though, but you'll hear. Yeah. There will still be Cause I Wannas, but we might have a different way that we start featuring.
Oh yeah, you just said we're adding like 6 new shows. I'm ready for you to tell me about that afterwards. Thank you, Misha, for 10 Australian, who says happy early birthday, Luxander. Enjoy the gay chair. It sounds great. Thank you. Somebody understands me. Okay.
Just kidding. Forrest is fired, everybody.
No more Forrest is my favorite host. I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah, I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of every time somebody giving me a compliment that they have to mention, like, usually I really like Forrest, but Jimmy did okay today. Like, fucking shut the fuck up.
Yeah, come on. Nobody wants to hear your opinion.
I don't need
The only thing is, I'm like, even if it's like a backhanded compliment or hate, at this point, I'm just seeing it as dollars. I'm like, good. Thank
for
you
sure.
For
engage in the algorithm.
Comments.
But the way the way that there are so many people who can't engage in a compliment or an insult without also invoking Forrest, it's just like, bro, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Like, we all exist in comparison to Forrest. Listen, he doesn't fart in front of his wife. We are all just living in
front of my wife. Luthien hears my farts. Luthien, would you tell them earlier what happened on the porch?
I don't remember what you're talking about.
Oh, I think Luthien is. I farted in front of you on the porch earlier. Remember, I went, "What the fuck was that?"
How do you expect me to remember when that happens when it happens so often?
That's true. There's a lot of farts that happen in this house. Mostly mine. 98% mine. Yeah. Yep. All right. And Team Free Will 08 says, you are essentially required to have debt to get debt, and it's ridiculous that they use an average for your credit age. Also, happy early birthday, Lux. The credit system's fucking crazy as shit.
So dumb. I only learned how it worked like 2 years ago, so I'm like, yeah, that average age of credit is kind of fucking me right now.
Yeah, Forrest comes on this. Forrest is like one of the. Someone asked if he's ever been on the channel. Forrest is probably like.
Is he
going to
be on Sunday, or are you still trying to fill that spot?
Because Javon's not here, so.
Oh, okay.
He's coming on this Sunday. Forrest is probably the first person we ask when somebody can't do their show. I'm very fond of Forrest, very much. If you ever want to insult Forrest, though, tell him he's acting more like me. I feel like that would devastate him. Be like, I don't know, Forrest. Seem kind of Jimmy-ish.
I just don't insult Forrest. Just compliment Forrest. He hates it.
No, he doesn't.
Tell him how smart he is,
I
and
don't
he'll
buy
get
it.
really uncomfortable.
I think he likes it. I think it's
so?
like,
You think
no,
he's just
stop,
demurring?
I'm
Yeah.
shy. Whereas
I think
I'm
he
literally
genuinely
like,
doesn't like it.
he had the option. I set the standard for people who actually don't like it to like, guys, no more. Just tell me you hate me. It's easier. Now we have the whole GFY thing. My shirt is an insult.
It is.
And this is the way I like it. Hey, Jimmy Snow, fuck your birthday. Go fuck yourself. Okay. Well, let's not go too crazy with I think he regrets sharing that he doesn't fart in front of his wife, to tell you the truth. I think he might be a little sensitive about it. Yeah. Let's not go too crazy with it.
I was saying it as like a positive.
No, somebody in the chat just did. That's not a, what, you were?
Yeah, like I was like, he's perfect. We are all just living in his world. That's the insinuation that I was making.
But he does fart. So it's not that he's fartless.
No, but he's not. But he's like so pure and so like as a person, he's such a fucking golden retriever that he's like, I won't even. My woman is so majestic, I won't even fart in front of her. Like we're all just living in Forest World. I get it.
I feel like that would only work if she was such a princess that she was allowed to have all the farts.
I remember this was part of the discussion.
They said they're both allowed to. They don't. Anyway.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking about a parody. Fartless. Look into my ass and my thighs. The limit. I'm fartless. Clenching real hard and I'm drowning in it. Anyway, that's the show and that was the outro song. Bye.
Bye.
Sorry.